Big ups, everyone. Big up. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good night, maybe for Perchy. I know it's a little bit late. How you doing, my friend?
It is. It's a little bit late here, but I'm all good. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I've just been fighting the good fight, my friend, on Twitter. You know, a lot of people been
We
saying
we
this
all,
and that.
we all have to. I used to be the warrior of Twitter. Now I've put the fighting boots up for now.
Man, I don't know what's going on with my Twitter, but I logged out and now I can't even get back into any of them. So I don't know what's going on with Twitter.
Probably for the best, isn't it?
Did I get banned? Did I get
Oh,
banned?
the cesspit that is Twitter. We all love it, but we hate it at the same time.
Welcome into another edition of Unmundane Mondays. This is actually the second like legitimate one because we've had to scramble and dance a little bit these past few weeks.
Loads of
But
stuff's happened since we. It
yeah,
was like when we announced that we were going to do this, we started doing it, and then everything seemed to happen. Loads of things for me, and then for you. Then I had to make a opportunist move and get some watch time on my channel, and did it for me for last week. But it was all good. How are you
it was
been,
a
mate?
great show
Anyway,
last week over there. If you haven't already, I'm great. But if you are new here, you're watching this back on replay, the Perchy TV, the link is in the chat, or not the chat, it's in the title and it's in the description. You can click that. We're trying to get the Perchy, what, to 550? We need 6 more
if we
subs to
can
hit
get
the
6 subs today, that'd be amazing. We're up to 550. That'd be
6
amazing.
subs. That's all we need. So I'm sure at some point, 6 of you who sub here can go over there and go sub and help him reach that target. I do want to say big thank you to everyone who's been liking and subscribing over here at United Spurs of America. Yesterday we did hit 1,300, so that was fun. That's a nice goal there that quite frankly, I didn't even think we'd ever get to 1K over here, but now we're at 1,300 and we just keep moving and grooving. So please do keep liking,
Smashing it, mate.
sharing, and subscribing. Real quick, I do want to say thank you to all the patrons of the channel, also the members of the channel. Let me see if I can pull that list up of those of you who did sign up for the membership. We got THFC Till I Die and Shafay and the OG, the original, the first ever YouTube member for United Spurs of America, Ben Kaufman. Shout out yourself. Should we say happy birthday real quick to Benny?
Yeah, happy birthday, Mister.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday, my friend.
Happy birthday,
we actually-
Benjamin Kaufman. That's about it, right?
Yeah, I think we're good. Happy birthday to the coffee genius himself. Big up, mate.
And the chillest corner of YouTube that you can find. So make sure you go over there.
It's a great show, but it's 2 o'clock in the UK, 3 o'clock for me here in Spain.
It's 7 a.m. for me.
Yeah, it's a
When he
lovely chilled one. Always, it's a good one. So check it out.
Yep. Real quick, let's run through the chat. Say what's up. Hello, Alan Sibley. Big up yourself. 10-inch says, good evening, lads. Why do I find it funny now when Spurs lose?
I've been like
Great
that
question.
for most of the season, Alan. Most of the season, I just comically laugh, and otherwise, if you don't laugh, you just bawl your eyes out in tears. I think laughter's the best medicine for it all.
That's what I was going to say. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. And you know what?
Exactly.
There's no need to cry anymore because after the FA Cup, I had no more hope for this season. I didn't care about top 4 personally. Big up Cursor, like secured. There's always time to support Chelsea. Yeah, there's always time to drive off a cliff as well. So there's all options on the table. Big up M says, big up Jacob in El Paso. Smash the likes, everyone. Do as he says, even though he's a Chelsea fan. Big up M.
Do it.
Richard Evans as well, another Chelsea fan. They got the Chelsea family checking in today, hitting them likes. Big up, and he's giving a little banter there to Alan Sibley. Big up Ben Kaufman. Happy birthday, my friend. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Big up Carl Simpson says, purple and gold till Tottenham gets sold. Big up gents and everyone in the chat. Big up Carl Simpson, 5 guys. Love the logo. Love the purple and gold. Shout out Ben Kaufman for all the logo adjustments he's been making for everybody too.
Honestly, I love it. Mine's up on my community page with the bandana scarf.
I love it. Yeah, no, yours is really cool.
You have seen one.
Yeah, yours is really cool.
Brilliant.
I love that one. Big up the sheriff, Mark Cousins. Says big up Jacob and Mike. I'm with Perchy today. Michael's got that full-time job, so he's actually at work right now. He ain't even gonna be tuning in. Spurs, big up Spurs, official supporter of the channel, patron member as well. So I just want to say also thank you to all the patrons. Your names are now scrolling down below. You also get a special shout out at the very beginning. So big up yourselves. You know who you are. And Perchy, big up Perchy, says Mark. Big up Ben Kaufman with the purple and gold. Big up Phil P, Phil Army. Woo!
Absolute legend.
Yeah, an absolute legend. He's actually been on like two out of the 3 of these shows that we've done. I think he was on.
Yeah, Phil P came on last week. He was the last minute substitute for your unfortunate absence last week.
He's kind of our Danjuma. He just comes in and scores and leaves, and we don't see him for a while. And next time he appears, he'll score, and who knows? Big up, Phil.
Calling the super sub for the Unmundane Mondays. We love you, Phil. We love you.
Yeah, big up, Phil. Big up Jake Ho, another official supporter of the channel. Big up Ben Kaufman with the link. There it is. You can
Do
click
it.
that in the chat. You can click it in the title. You can click it in the description. There's really no excuse at this point to not click it and go sub to the Perchy. I'm gonna see if at least one person did. Hang on.
We have J
One.
Co has big up, mate. We're up to 5 to go. Come on.
Hey, J
Love
Co's
you.
a good
Cheers.
one.
Big up.
J Co's a real one. They're a great
Big
guy.
up.
Great guy, great supporter. They're always here showing some love. So, oh God, happy birthday, Ben. Yes, happy birthday. The amount of food I ate today was totally inhumane.
Got to be done, hasn't it?
It's just got to be done. I hope you
Oh,
had
yeah,
some cake too.
raw.
Save some room for dessert. Come on now. Big up. It's okay to cry. It's okay to laugh. There we go. Just subbed. Big up. Only need 5 more. 5 more subs. We can get Perchy to his goal of 550 for the day. That also helps Perchy, feel like coming here is good for him, good for me, good for everyone.
I love coming here.
I appreciate that. Honestly, you being here and doing this with you, it's a lot of fun for me too. So I'm glad that we could get this thing kicked off again in a proper manner. Big up, Carl. That's right. Sub to Perchy. What is this? We will be rating all the logos I edited tomorrow right there on the coffee company. Click that link. Give a sub.
Get there tomorrow. This will be quite cool. I'll be there. I'll be tuning in definitely tomorrow for that one.
Absolutely. Great channel. Great channel. Happy birthday to Ben Coffin. I love that. It's showing some love. Thanks, everyone. And he had 2 desserts. So would you look at that? Man, Perchy, there's a few things that I really feel like we could just start kicking things off because I brought up, I was like, so fair play to everyone tuned in. Make sure you hit that like as well. Before the show, Perchy, we were talking, and I was like, okay, there's a few, talking points I want to go over with you. And literally the first one that I brought up, we just started rambling and going back and forth because we share a little bit of
We actually said, stop, we'll talk about it on the show instead of, otherwise, let's actually talk about it with everyone. Let's go for it. Ali, go on, hit me. Let's start this off. Let's do it.
Should we just kick it off with a bang
I think
already?
we kick it off.
See, I'm trying to get, I don't know what happened to the damn Twitter, man. I do not know what happened to the damn Twitter. Because I was going to share my Twitter and show you some tweets and then we're going to get some reactions. But for whatever reason, oh, here we go. Man, Twitter's bugging out on me. I don't know. Maybe I made the wrong person mad today. Maybe Elon Musk is tuned into the stream. Yeah, he was pissed that I set Eric Dyer out. Maybe that's his buddy. I don't know. The first thing I want to talk about, obviously, it's going to be that Liverpool loss. What a day that was, right? I mean, down 3-0 first 15 minutes, started feeling a lot like St. James's Park all over again. And then what do you know? We actually fight our way back, draw, and then give up a goal in the last, or I think within 10 seconds of
it was about 20 seconds or so. Yeah. What you want my thoughts? This is a great one. If you haven't, my match reaction was absolute. My actual live stream whilst I was watching it, because I do my around the grounds and I moved around the grounds to Sunday to incorporate the Spurs game. Normally I do my around the grounds on a Saturday and just talk about other people than Spurs. But for whatever reason, this weekend there was only 3 games on Saturday, and then there was 5 or 6 on Sunday. So I decided to shuffle it to Sunday, and I decided to do a little watch along with Spurs Liverpool. Yeah, that was madness. Where do we start with that? Because I started thinking, there was a lot of talk with people when we got battered by Newcastle that we can't do it because we play 4 at the back, and we conceded goals because of that, because we can't defend it with 4 at the back. For me, I said this and I say it again. The biggest issue we have isn't formations now, is we have a psychological problem at the beginning of games. And I made a comparison that we defend in the first, 15 to 20 minutes of games now, we defend like drunk Sunday league players. And the thing is that's, people go, oh, you're overreacting. But it really isn't. If you watch how we defended for those 3 goals, I mean, the penalty's a shocker. And I know we're going to come on to it in a bit, but we talk about Eric Dyer and how bad he is. I don't think Christian Romero's any better, and he gets plaudits by our fan base, by the way. If you watch defensively, him giving away that penalty was shocking. You could argue maybe it was Pedro Porro's fault for the first goal, but he's the one. He should be the one championing that role and going, no, he's mine, you on him. You shouldn't be leaving
My
a man free at the back post. If you watch it, honestly, I watched the 3 goals again backs, just individually, and I broke it from stage by stage. If you defended like that in Sunday League, down the parks of your local parks with the lads that just turn up on a Sunday League, you'd be yelled at by your boss, by the manager of the Sunday League team. I mean, these are Premier League internationals. It And do you know what it is? And it really bugs me, and I feel like I'm going on to a bit of a semi rant. We've not got the full rant yet. This is the start of the rant, but I'm at that point now where I go, it really doesn't matter. And as I said to you, we're going to go on to Eric Dyer in a minute, and I've got a lot of things to say about him. But
Yeah, let's keep.
I think,
I do want to talk about Romero a little bit because I think it
I think,
naturally segues into the
yeah,
Eric
go for
Dyer
it.
talk. My thing with Christian Romero, he's 25 years old. He's been here what 2.5 seasons? Wait, is this going to be his second season?
No, it's his second season now. So he's
about to
done
complete
2
his
seasons.
second season.
Yeah,
To me, that is such an an easy way to say, okay, this guy is doing. I mean, would I say that he was bad yesterday? Yes, but the thing is,
I think
I make
he was as bad as Eric Dyer was yesterday.
I make this comparison. I mean, you can only be as good as your team is, right? Like if we would have won, this would be a completely different conversation. But my thought with it is this: that if you have a group project with 10 other people and
Yep.
7 of them have an inability to do anything correctly, and you're constantly worried, okay, maybe they're not going to do their part at this juncture. Maybe they're not going to do their part. Naturally, even if you're the best one in the world, like you're going to make mistakes trying to compensate for the weaker links in the group project. So my thought is this: I don't blame Romero. I don't blame him one bit. He's the best thing we got back there. And I think that it's just a little bit of an easy target to say, okay, he's been shit. When we look at that back line, I don't think any single one of them. I look at like who's been here, and I get so frustrated with this because Eric Dyer's been here. This is his 10th season.
Yep.
His 10th season. And
We'll get his testimonial
what has he
next
done?
year.
Yeah, he's gonna get the
He'll
TISO watch
he'll
and
get his
everything.
10-year testimonial. And listen, I think this is the bit that me and you differ on. Because for me, I get what you're saying, and a lot of people have the same. I think a lot of people have exactly the same view as you, and I look at it very differently. For me, I think Christian Romero gets a lot of praise, but does I think he's as bad as the rest of them. I don't think he. I think, and this is where people. It's great YouTube, and it's great because yesterday I was on Sav's show for his Spurs talk yesterday, and everyone because I made the comparison. Went, if you put Paolo Maldini in at centre half, he doesn't make the mistakes Romero makes week in week out. Just on his own into that defence. And everyone went, you can't be comparing Romero with Paolo Maldini. I said, I wasn't. I said, that wasn't the comparison. My point was
The comparison I want to ask you with that, I want to go with that same thought line that you just mentioned. Sorry to cut you off, Perchy. Who played next to Maldini? Did he ever have someone playing next to him that was as awful as Dyer or Davies or Sanchez?
I do agree with your point to a certain extent. I get your point. However, Maldini on his own is a great defender, and Phil makes a great point. Romero needs to do so much better and not be a passenger. If he's as great as everyone makes out to be, and hear me out, and where's his show in making defensive mistakes? He makes a lot of defensive mistakes, and for me personally, think he gets away with it because he's got 2 other defenders that are worse than him. And I want that to be a caveat, by the way. I do think he's our best defender at the club. And I actually think he will become a very, very good centre-half. But he doesn't
think it's an easy target to say, like,
is he though? I think the easy target is blaming the likes of Eric Dyer. Because listen, and this is where me and you.
Well, he makes that easy. Eric Dyer makes that easy every single week.
I agree, but my point, and this is where me and you had the sort of debate off thing, and we said we'll wait it now. I said, I for one now, I can't sit there and blame Eric Dyer anymore. I can't out of my own self-respect in a sense to go, do you know what? He's the problem. Well, we know he's the problem, but Mason plays him. Stellini played him. Conte played him. Mason played him.
What other
before.
choice did they
Yeah.
have?
But my
Joe
point being is
Roden?
no.
Davinson
He's out. No, but,
Sanchez? You're
no.
like,
I'm not.
which
I'm
pencil? So to me, it's this is the argument. To me, it's like you open a box of colored
yeah.
markers, right? And you're like, well, this one's okay because it's it's not as dull as the others. It hasn't been used as much as the others, and it's there, and I can still get some kind of image when I use it. To me, it just seems like that's not really a fair way to judge it. Like, okay, this manager used him, this manager used him. I wouldn't even accept the argument either that he gets called into the England national team. I know you didn't. That was a fight I had on Twitter with someone else.
I know someone. I saw that. I did see that, and that's not what I say because I think he shouldn't be playing. He shouldn't be playing at this level of football anymore. He's not good enough. My concern is though, and this is where I have this sort of philosophy when it comes around on it. And this is genuinely my philosophy on it was I do get your sentiment, by the way. I get your point. Who could go in? But for me, my argument will always be big up, mate.
Carl Simpson.
No, do not do that.
No, don't do that.
No, do that. No, and Totsa, he's right. It is collectively, and my point is that when I see fans sit there and laud Romero, I think this is where it comes from, by the way, and I think we're meeting in the middle in what I'm trying to get at. Mm-hmm. It's not that I don't think Romero is a great defender. I think he's a very good defender. But the only thing for me is I think he gets lauded at this club because we've got bang average defenders next to him. Does that kind of make sense? So we kind of go, we kind of think that he's great and amazing because next to him he's got two donkeys next to him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we think he's a stallion, but actually he's probably just an all right horse. But it's because he's next to people that are terrible. People think he's great. I think he's okay. I like him. Do you know? And this is the caveat I always will make with Romero in itself. I genuinely do think he will become good. I think once you get a proper centre half, a leader next to him that can go to him. Do you know what we need? And we'll hate to say it, and the Chelsea boys in the chat will like this. Do you know who we need right now? Not him. We need a John Terry. We need a John Terry. Not obviously not John
So let me
Terry,
ask you this. If Eric Dyer is this
like
passionate Spurs boy, this great leader of the men, right, at the
Spurs
back
boy,
line.
He was at Everton, wasn't he?
Sporting, I thought it was. Yeah, Sporting.
Well, no, but we signed.
But I'm saying he's been here so long,
Everton,
the fucking moss is growing in his locker room. So what my point is, you can say, oh, Romero's, this rash defender. He needs a John Terry next to him. He needs a guy who with his head on his shoulder who can help direct him. I do agree with that. But if Eric Dyer is this guy who has a tenure of 10 years with a big six club, surely he can be that guy, right? Surely he's the guy. Oh, he's the most expensive fucking translator in the world.
But I don't think he's a good defender. I genuinely don't think he's a good defender, and I've said that. And what Ben makes a good point of is that everyone plays him though. There's got to be listen. I'm not saying here before people clip it and people make comments here. I'm not defending Eric Dyer, but what I'm trying to say here now is why do all of these managers pick him? Why? There's got to be a reason. They have no other choice.
When you're going into a battle, you're like, okay, this pencil's kind of sharp. Maybe I can stab somebody with it, and you don't.
But Jacob, my point is if he's as bad as we all believe he is, surely there's got to be a better option to not have him. There's got to be a system that we play that he doesn't play in it. Do you sort of get what my sort of philosophy in it? I think he's terrible, but there's got to be a reason why we play him.
There's not. It's the same reason why Winks was getting picked. He's fucking awful. They had no other choice. This isn't a guy that Jose Mourinho asked for. This isn't a guy that Nuno asked for. This isn't a guy that Conte asked for. Stellini, Mason.
I'm gonna take over the show and I'm gonna lead this one here. Welcome to the United Perch of America, by the way, guys. Here we go. Is Eric Dyer the worst defender at the club?
I would say he's equal to.
He's equal to who?
He's equal. He'll give you the same bullshit Sanchez will give you. He'll give you the same bullshit. I think he's worse than Davies. I think he's worse than Longley. I think he's equal to Davinson Sanchez. I don't know. Japhet Tanganga, I think, is a question mark. We can't. That's maybe a patent pending because I don't think I've seen enough at him at the center back position to really say Japhet Tanganga. But I think Japhet Tanganga is a better athlete than Eric Dyer. I think he could be a better leader than Eric Dyer. I don't think that's a very tough task to ask of anybody to be better than Eric Dyer at anything.
But okay, and I get your point. But my point is now, for me, how many more mistakes does he have to make to get dropped? Because for me,
he can make 5 mistakes per game. Sorry, he can make 5 mistakes per game. He's still going to get picked because what? He's in the Players Association. He's going to go cry to Daniel Levy if you don't get his way. He's one of the problems of the ethos here.
But then for me, is one of the biggest. Yeah, big. That is so true. Well said. Well said. F up John Terry, the knob.
We do need a. But you're right, though. We do need that.
I was using him as a comparison. No, but I do get to a sentiment of what you're trying to get at. I do understand it. But Ben's right. Couldn't pass a ball.
Must be contractual.
Possibly. But then
someone said he might be a Donna Cullen, Daniel Levy love child, and that's why he constantly gets. I wouldn't. Hey, maybe.
But I'm sitting there thinking that this is what worries me. And this is also one of the biggest worries that I had, by the way, when everyone told me about Antonio Conte and everyone said to me, you hounded him out. But you can't have it both ways. Antonio Conte was one that came out and said, Eric Dyer can be one of the best defenders in the Premier League. Sorry, based on what? Based on what? Do you sort of get my point? And I wasn't one of the things like that. I question them going, there must be a reason why managers are coming out and saying that. Do you see what I mean? Like, there's got to be a reason.
Because there
must be something we're missing.
Yeah, I can tell you what it is and why. And there's a multitude of reasons. The one that I've already mentioned, which is lack of different options, lack of anything else.
Agreed.
I would say two is if you look at players who have the locker room, you have to imagine the likes of Harry Kane, Eric Dyer, these guys who've been here a long ass time, that they have some sort of pull. And even if you watch the Prime doc, you can see in there where Jose Mourinho, arguably one of the best managers in the history of managing in this decade.
I tell you what, though, Jose got a good deal at. I tell you what, Jose, however much I couldn't stand him at this football club because of his Chelsea connections, he found a way with Eric Dyer that he actually looked all right. He's probably one of the only managers that I could say that I went, do you know what? He's actually got him playing. And do you know what it is for me, what Jose didn't get a lot of credit because of who he was.
But my point was, look at what happened. He's asking his assistant, "Hey, who has the locker room?" Right? He says, "Oh, Sissoko's got these group of players. They've got these." Yep. So managers come in and they say, "Who has the locker room?" And whenever they get their intel back that says Eric Dyer's one of the bastards that they have, you've got to imagine, like, okay, we got to somewhat keep. I mean, they look at his rap sheet, right? He's been here 10 years, moss growing on the locker. There's roots, and it's just constantly emitting this poisonous pollen amongst the locker room that's creating this mindset. You want to know what mindset it's creating? I always got this at the radio.
You guys never win anything, right? No.
I'm going to let it play the second.
You love this video.
No, I wake up, I watch that, and then I work out because it gives me a lot of motivation to punch things.
Yeah, no, I agree. And do you know what? Like, I think actually we do agree on this, by the way, but I think we're just coming at it slightly differently. There was one comment Ben did put saying though, Conte looks much healthier now that he's left Tottenham. And listen, all the people's opinions and stuff, the fact that the man's healthy, big up Ben for putting that in. Yeah, that health is more important than all that crap. Like, we can all sit there and argue and debate about football and crap. His health was much more important, definitely. And don't blame him. I mean, we have to watch this football club every single week. He doesn't have to anymore. Benefits to him. But do you know what I think the worrying thing is? Is that do you know who people didn't want him and he turned us down, and maybe for right reasons though, before we signed Conte, who's the manager that we were after that now manages Manchester United?
Yeah, Eric Ten Hag.
Yep. What did Ten Hag do immediately when he came into Manchester United? What did he do? He did two things.
Got rid of Ronaldo.
He got rid of Ronaldo, who is one of the best players in the world. Love him or hate him, he's one of the best players in the world. And he dropped their club captain in Harry Maguire. He could have easily, and this is the one thing I sit back and I've thought about this. I thought about this long and hard. If Conte, if Conte was this sort of man of himself, he would have gone, do you know what? I'm dropping him. He's not in the team anymore. He's not my key man.
I mean, if I had Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Anthony Martial, Anthony...
But he dropped Harry Maguire.
For Varane and Martinez.
Yeah, but he went in and when he got in his own man.
All three of those... Sorry, go ahead.
He could have... No. I do agree, because Man United's a different beast in a sense. They will go and buy players that managers want. They will do that side of things. And I get that premise. I totally agree. But my point is he could have gone in and gone, it's Man United. I'm not going to upset the apple cart. I'm not going to go in. He's the captain and he's the best player. He's one of the best players in the world. I'm going to stick it out, even though it's against my wishes. Conte can't have in his right mind gone Eric Dyer. And the thing is the fact he came out with those quotes tells me that it was. And I think we've talked about the man himself.
Ben says the difference is the Glazers are not buddies with their players. Levy is friends with Dyer, Davies, etc. I mean, they've got that little elevator that goes straight to Daniel Levy's office. You hear something you don't like, go what? You can go complain.
And the thing is, and with that comment, Ben, I think the thing is that is a massive, massive issue at our football club. These owners, the chairman shouldn't be dealing with these players. That's not their job. It's such an undermining. And this is the one thing because obviously people think that I'm a Conte hater. I'm really not. And that I think for the one thing for me was one of the big problems is that and it wasn't just him, it was also Jose, it was also Pochettino. And it has been a circumstance and issue at this football club where this player power at the football club is a big issue. And it's a big issue that needs to be addressed. And I think unless that gets changed, nothing really will, unless what you do is you gut out a lot of this. You need the next manager realistically, and I think I'm siding onto another topic in the sense of talking about managers. I think the next manager has to be firm within his beliefs. So if he and the fact is he has to be the man that goes, do you know what? I don't care who they are. If they're not fitting my system, they're not in the team. And if they don't want to adapt to the way I play, they're not in the team. Because that was one of the key things about Ronaldo. He didn't want to adapt to the way Ten Hag played, and Ten Hag went, "No, you're not playing." Then, if you're not going to adapt to the way I want, you're not going to do what I want you to do, then you're not in the team. And you could have argued that you could have argued dropping their top goal scorer from the season before. And Ben's right here as well. Yeah, the next manager has to have a gutter cleaner. Has to be a gutter cleaner. He does. And listen, and this is why I always say to people when they say about the next manager genuinely needs time. And because it's not going to take a transfer window to gut out a lot of the dross we have at this club. We need a massive start again, not a restart, a complete and utter restart.
I want to go back a little bit to the Eric Dyer conversation. And we're talking about...
I think you love him, by the way. You love talking about him.
I love him so much. I just need physical contact. I just want to make physical contact with him. And anyone who watches this channel knows what I mean. See, anyone who watches this show, I'm trying to not. I think the YouTube.
We got to keep it lighthearted. That's the best part about this show. We just talk and make it fun.
What even happened? So I've been keeping track in the back end of YouTube with some of these streams. Like now that we're monetized here. And so like I look at it and I turn it on for the stream, and then very quickly it goes to limited for ad suitability, because I guess the fucking ads don't like me because I curse, because I try to fight Eric Dyer. I don't know. Maybe it's Eric Dyer who has something to do with it.
Eric Dyer runs YouTube, by the way. Say, be nice to him and you will get money.
Literally, as soon as I mention Eric Dyer, we are now limited monetization. Like ads aren't going to play on this channel anymore because I guess because I played Eric Dyer. I don't know. Honestly, that's the part for me that really. Oh, I see a beautiful face in the background. I'm going to make this last point and then we're going to bring him in.
Go.
I just want to. I'm getting distracted a little bit. My point with the Eric Dyer thing is this man has been here for so long. And yes, these managers played him. That manager played him. That manager played him. But literally, you have no other choice. You have no other option. When I only have one car to drive, what car am I going to drive? If I need to get somewhere in 30 minutes, I'm going to use the car that's here, even if it's a bucket beater.
Do you genuinely think that there is no system that this club can play that stops him from playing? Because and no, it doesn't really matter what your answer is because there's a reason, and there will be an answer to what you say. So do you genuinely think that there's no system in this club that this team can play that we can't have him in the team?
I think nothing you do as a club can involve that man if you want to succeed in the Premier League, in Champions League, in the Carabao Cup, and in the FA Cup. I think he could barely. I think he wouldn't even start for half of the MLS teams. I genuinely believe that now.
No, Jacob, that wasn't the question I asked, though. The question I asked is,
Sorry.
Is there no... No, that's fine. I feel like, as I said, this is United Perch of America.
It is United Perch of America. We haven't gotten it back yet. We haven't gotten it back.
He has not regained it. No, I asked the question now. I'm playing. The
big up,
question
Lisa,
was,
big up.
Is there no... Big up, Lisa, big up. Is there no system that we can play that means that he doesn't play? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No system we can play. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that.
Is that a damning indictment of our football club then? As a damning indictment.
Absolutely, because we've paid for this man for 10 years.
But listen, and the thing is for me, it's an absolute damning indictment, the fact that we can't even find a system. And listen, I'm not saying that we have good centre-backs, because I genuinely think we have really average centre-backs. And by the way, I put Romero in that bracket. He's part of those. He's a centre-back as well. I genuinely think we have a really bad bunch of centre-backs. And the fact, and you're right in what you say, and I said it is a damning indictment, that we can't find a system that doesn't mean Eric Dyer plays, even if it means going to a fullback. And listen, I know it's terrible, and we have all absolute dreaded memories of that at St James's Park. But hear me out. Would it be as terrible? And this is my thought process on it. And it's not going to happen. There's no point in happening now. The season's over. For me, game over. Could you have not played 4-string goal, Porro on the right, Romero right centre-back, Longley left centre-back, Davis left-back? Could that not be a back four? And then you play, and then you have a 3-man midfield.
You could give that a shot. But here's what's going to happen. The classroom snitch is going to go complain to mommy, and guess what? Now mommy's got a meeting with the principal on why you so mean.
I know we all joke about it. Do you genuinely believe that happens, though?
I know it. The evidence is there. The writing is on the wall. There's no other explanation.
But under Pochettino and a lot of periods under Jose, he didn't play. He was benched for a lot of that. We're using him specifically for the conversation. Mm-hmm. There's other players that have been in this team that have previously played a lot of games, then had to sit on the bench because of X, Y, and Z. So do you genuinely think that happens? Because I think back more. I think much more like in the sense of, I think he and I'll be honest. I think he plays because managers like him playing, and it has to, because. I know. I don't agree with it, by the way.
I'm starting to sweat. You're starting to make me sweat, Perchy, with that last comment.
But Jacob, I don't agree with it. But I don't believe in the sort of tin hat kind of theories that people have sort of conjured up. I genuinely think managers prefer him playing, and I said, and it goes back to what I said a moment ago. That's a damning indictment of our football club if he is the key man at the back. because he shouldn't be anywhere near our defence. He's useless.
I'm actually like rattled because you said that you think managers like him playing in their team.
But there can't be any other reason. There can't either. It'd be one of two things. It's one of two things. Either one, that managers trust him playing in the back, or two, they don't trust anybody else. And potentially it's the latter. I believe it's potentially the latter. But is Japhet Tanganga? That means if we're basing on how bad we think Eric Dyer is, does that make Japhet Tanganga not even a championship level player? Because I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's a great defender, by the way. I think he's all right. He's a squad player. He's probably not even that.
I would agree with that, but I want to make a little observation real quick. Chelsea old boys, obviously a Chelsea fan, coming in here. Dyer is the heart and soul of Spurs. He's a legend for you. I mean, the fact that he's literally our Harry Maguire that we get bantered for, but yet we for some reason stick by him. Man. Yes, I do agree in the former point that you made that maybe we need a manager to come in who will man up and say X, Y, and Z about this guy. But
I agree. I want to see a bit of balls from somebody to go in and say, do you know what? You've been terrible for the last couple of years. Goguma. Big up Goguma. Big up
Goguma says, love you, United Spurs. Love you too, Goguma. Hope you're doing well. Maybe I don't know what time it might be there for you. Probably pretty late, but big up. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the super chat as well. The first super chat of the day. Should we bring in a couple more opinions to get on this Eric Dyer situation?
Let's do so.
I'd take a Roomba over in defense. Yeah, exactly. Come on. We need anything. I have a couple of really good people.
I do agree with a lot of what you're saying. We do, Jacob. We do agree. I think we look at it. I
do wear a little bit of a tinfoil hat. You mentioned that. I do a little bit buy into conspiracies. I do believe.
See, I don't. I'm not one of those. I don't believe conspiracies because I try and look at things quite. For me, in my opinion, I just try and find the logic in it, and there's got to be a reason to it. But yeah, let's bring.
I mean, crop circles. Is there a reason for crop circles? That's a great question to ask Ben. That's a great question to ask Paul. Look at this. Look at these studs we just brought in. First off, happy birthday, Ben.
Right. The beards have turned up. It makes mine embarrassing now, doesn't it?
It makes my lack of one even more embarrassing.
We've got the perfect, what's it called? We've got no beard.
Oh, yes.
Full beard, long beard, really long beard. I love it.
The beards are growing.
What we need is between me and Paul, so we have that full...
the four stages of man.
Happy birthday, Ben. I can say happy birthday to you in person now. Happy birthday, mate.
Yeah, happy birthday,
man.
I have beaten Jimi Hendrix. I am no longer a chance of being in the 27 club, so that's great. Big up Jimi Hendrix.
It's interesting that's the perspective you have, because when I turned 27, or 28, I was also like, no longer going to be. We made it. We made it. Yeah. But I think you also have to be like a super big rock star or something. You have to be pretty popular.
I'm sort of a big rock star. I've got a Gibson SG over there. I'm a rock star.
You've got a few Gibsons by the look of it.
I've got a couple of Gibsons. Therefore, I think I can be on there.
Well, when you get to my age, at least you lose the fear of dying young. That's the only plus I can give you.
Yeah.
Most days you wake up and it's like, I'm still fucking here. Brilliant. Here we go.
So y'all were here when we were talking about the Dyer thing, and I mean, I need some help here because we're hitting the facts on the head, right? This guy played him. This guy played him. There's something to the fact. But Ben, let me ask you: is it just a lack of options, or is Eric Dyer just such a stud? He's undroppable.
I've got 4 potential theories, and I'm not a tin ahead guy. I'm very much in the same realm as. There's 4 things. 1, it's got to be contractual. Just like when Harry Kane started in the Champions League final instead of Lucas Moura, he must have it in his contract. If I'm fit, I play. Dyer must have the same sort of thing in his contract.
Son's got something similar where he has to play a certain amount of minutes every season.
Yeah, I think Son maybe has one of these. Number 2, he makes a cracking cup of tea. He must be absolutely excellent at making some Thai food. He must be really good. Number 3, it's one of those that I think is true. He's one of Levy's mates, because in what billion-pound organisation do you see your chairman or your boss sitting in the same room as the employees? You never see that. The boss is sitting in a different room.
If the company's small enough, Ben, you will see that. I did work in a place where the owner was always prevalent, but it was a very small establishment. Not a billion dollar.
Not a football.
Jerry Jones did not eat with all of us at lunch. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you see that. Or number 4, it's probably no one's good enough. But the reason they're not good enough is because Levy doesn't buy the players to get rid of it.
Agreed. No, that for me is you're absolutely spot on there. That is the big problem. We don't improve, and I think we can talk about theories about why he plays and stuff. But I think the crux of it all is we don't improve our football squad. We don't, and we don't improve it well enough. And listen, and I'll go back on what I said about, and we'll use Romero for a second, because I think he's a good defender, but I just think he's been absolutely useless for a while. I think he's been really poor.
We've talked about this a lot, Perch. He needs
a proper leader.
If you watch him for Tottenham and for Argentina, at Tottenham he's got Eric Dyer. He goes to Argentina and he's got Otamendi.
Proper defender. No, I agree.
Is a stalwart, hard-nosed, hard bastard leader. If you cross
that, no, I agree.
He will slash you in front of everyone. He will karate chop you in front of the entire world and say, "You do not do that to me. I am in charge. I am the boss. I am leading this back line." Whereas Romero looks at Davis, Sanchez, and he goes, "I can do what the hell I want. I can lunge into a tackle." But no one's going to slap him. The goalkeeper, who should be doing that, Hugo Lloris, should be doing that. You should say, "I'm the captain. Behave yourself. You do this."
Yeah.
But no. We need... we need
no,
Lewis Dunk. That's who we need. We need a Lewis Dunk or a Koulibaly, someone that's been there, done it, played in all facets of the game, someone that's going to be level-headed and say, "Right, now you defend. Now you smash someone. Now you do this. Now we need a leader."
I agree. I do agree with you.
Dyer, Hotspur, and probably Harry Kane. You could probably put Sonny in there as well. Sonny was doing a bit of leadership on the pitch yesterday. He was trying to G them up. But when two of your leaders, if you including Lloris, are bad leaders. Hotspur is a terrible leader.
Yeah, agreed.
Does exactly what Dyer does. Make a terrible mistake and then blame everyone else.
He's a shit. Everyone else. I agree.
Dyer makes a mistake, blames everyone else. The only one that sort of does their job is Harry Kane. He scores a goal.
The only one.
That's how you lead.
But Harry Kane's not the leader in the sense of the leader. But what he is, he's a leader of example. Yeah. There's a slight difference. Harry Kane.
And you can follow a leader like that. You can. The leaders can lead in that way effectively. But what leaders cannot do.
Good workforce. If you've got a good workforce, you can do that. But in a shit workforce, you need a Roy Keane. You need a Seedorf. You need someone that's going to grab everyone by the throat and say, "Right, you do not fuck this up."
Agreed. No, and I was just going to ask a question here on it, and this is the one thing I do. How do you feel? Listen, because I don't think they're great, by the way. I genuinely don't think they're great defenders. Oh,
he'll be back. He might be back.
He'll be back. He'll be back. Yeah. We know that. No, but the question I was just going to ask Ben was this. How must you be if you're Davinson Sanchez and Tanganga at the moment? I don't think they're great defenders, by the way. And not before anyone says anything, I don't think they're great defenders. However, they must be sitting there going, I get shafted every single week. Sanchez gets ridiculed all the time. He gets subbed on and subbed off, publicly mocked in that sense, and by the manager and stuff. Yet he must sit there and go, I may not be the greatest in the world, but how is he starting over me every single week? Because I can defend better than that. Do you get my point? Like, there's got to be
Sanchez looked great next to Toby and Jan. Because again,
he did actually. Yeah, that first season when he came in,
say, right, stay here. You go here now.
Yeah.
You centre back role is something you're coached. It's a coaching role. You have leaders and you have soldiers. We've got two soldiers. We've got Tanganga, who's another meathead. He hasn't got a footballing brain. He's not
agreed.
Brilliant. But if you had a Jan Vertonghen next to him, so, oi, Jaff, smash that bastard. And he'll be like rubbing his hands together and he'll smash someone. He's a monster. But we need that. We need that technically brilliant leadership candidate who can talk. Sava talks about this. Look, we need someone like a Connor Cody. Someone that talks. Someone
a Lewis Dunk. I'd snap Lewis Dunk off. Do you know? And you're absolutely bang on. And do you know what? I think we missed out big time. And everyone would have gone, stupid signing. We're Tottenham Hotspur. But the player we should have signed on a free was James Tarkowski.
Yes, I
he
agree.
would have been on a and there was no, because I know everyone would have gone, oh my God, where's our ambition? But I tell you what, he would have led that back line better than we have now.
Gets in our team. Easily gets in our team.
Easily.
I'd have all three of the Crystal Palace centre backs over us.
Agreed as well.
I want to hear Paul's. I want to hear Paul's take on this Dyer situation because honestly, I think he shares a lot of my same sentimentalities towards this man, Eric Dyer. But I'm curious where you land on the whole stance of why he gets picked and why are people fighting with me on Twitter defending this man when he constantly puts in shifts like we saw yesterday, like we saw the match before that, like we saw the match before that, like we saw the match before that, like we saw the match before that. And I can keep saying that for another 30 minutes if that helps. But you know as well as I know it's shit. What do you think? Why does he get picked, Paul?
I think he must be sucking someone off.
That's okay.
I mean, that's the last of the monetization.
There it goes. Yep. The ads are definitely. But the thing is, already showed Eric Dyer, so the ads are already not coming. Alan Sibley's fifth.
He's like, you know, you've seen them in every company. There's some useless person that just seems to be in favour with the powers that be that gets a free pass for everything. And I don't know if it's because his granddad used to be head of the FA. You know, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get how he's in the England squad. I don't get how he's playing for Tottenham. I mean, the guy clearly is useless at everything he does. And to think, you know, we haven't got a centre back in the under-23s, under-5s, anything that's better than that wanker.
I agree.
So,
I agree, and I think that's the key.
I don't know.
Next game, Crystal Palace play us 4. We'll do a better job.
You might as well.
Oh, yeah, easy. At least I'd run up to someone and stick my leg out.
You could play 3 fans at centre-back and they wouldn't concede in the way we concede in the first 15 minutes.
We have Paul and Jacob in the middle, Perchy left-back, and me right-back.
Me with my belly at left-back. I mean, I will not be a marauding left-back, trust me. I'll be deeper than anyone at left-back. I will not be marauding forward at left-back, trust me.
This comment here is Sven Botman. This was someone I wanted a year before he went to Newcastle, and to see him go to Newcastle for that fee, and then the fee that we spent on Richarlison makes me laugh. Alan Sibley says we will probably buy Maguire.
There was
in the
a lot
summer.
of fans that said they didn't want Botman as well. There was a lot of fans that went, nah, he's not good enough. Look at him now. He's £100 million centre off, isn't he? Yeah. Easy.
Quality defence.
I don't see how we let a player like Cameron Carter-Vickers go, and I'm not saying he's brilliant, but he's better than Eric Dyer, and he put in a huge shift for Celtic on the weekend. He's been playing injured as well, and he was still brilliant. I don't think he's good enough, but why he goes and we keep Dyer, I don't understand.
They're the same level, I would say. I think if you put Eric Dyer at Celtic, he could excel in the same way we see Carter Vickers. Every time Carter Vickers does a loan deal, he looks good, and then he looks really slow and out of it in the preseason. So I agree to a part of that, Paul, in the sense that why is Carter Vickers getting shipped out the door when he's of the same quality as Eric Dyer? And Eric Dyer is one of the first names on every team sheet. I think I go with Alan Sibley's comment. Where was it? That he's a love child of Donna Colin and Daniel Levy. Perchy, I know you're not going to put the tin hat on, but I'm going to hand you a tin hat. I'm going to hope that you wear it just for a second. Is there any chance that this could be true?
Nope, it's not. Come on, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Not
I know you
chance. I was hoping it was a rhetorical.
What if I give you a propeller hat?
Ooh!
Oh my god! Only you would have a propeller hat. It's the most Ben Kaufman hat you'll ever see.
There's a
Maybe-
comment.
That is.
Maybe he has no parents, because I hear that they're close to growing meat in a laboratory now. So maybe they just did it a few years ago with a centre back.
Yeah.
God.
It's a good idea.
Oh, God.
Maybe like a first person experimentation. In order to
Goodness
divert
Christ,
away from
anything
more
is it?
conspiracy theories to drive Perchy completely up a wall before he's got to go to bed, I starred this comment from Lisa because this was another talking point that I wanted to speak on, because I kind of know where I know where some of us land with this, but I think it's another topic that needs to be discussed. Lisa says Pierre-Emile Højbjerg passes backwards and just points all over the pitch like a quote leader. It drives me crazy. He does it all the time.
Yeah.
Perchy, you want to kick this off? What's your? You don't want to talk about Højbjerg?
I'm happy to. I've got a lot to say about this man.
Yeah, I knew you do. I know you
think-
do. So
I
I want to
think-
give you the.
I think Højbjerg is. I think he's actually one of the worst centre midfielders we've had in a long time. I think on the balance of gets absolute plaudits for doing very, very little, it really annoys me. And I hate seeing when people go, "Oh, he shows passion. He's a Viking." No, he's not. He's on the deck half the time.
Yeah.
Because he gets absolutely out-muscled by an average midfielder.
Yeah.
I think, and do you know what I worry about? And I sit there and go, people use passion as a sort of an excuse to give someone, yeah, he sits there and shouts a lot. But I can do that. It doesn't make me any good. I can sit there and point and tell people, this is what you got to do, yelling if we've conceded a goal. Listen, I think he has the odd good game here and there. But
Not good game, Perch. The odd good 45 minutes, which is what he showed at
but
Liverpool.
that's what I mean. But like he'll
First
go,
half and suddenly turns it on for the second half. He is part of the problem.
of course he is. The thing is, but he's another one that he's the one that really irritates me. What excuse is that I hear from everyone? He plays every week. Again, is that not a damning indictment of our football club that players like him play every week? Same with the likes of Eric Dyer, play every week. For me, that's such an indictment and a terrible indictment of our football club that the likes of Højbjerg get praise because he's tired. He's a professional football player.
My take on the whole thing is, I still think if you look at since he's came into the team, he's been our most consistent midfielder. I'm going to argue on the side
consistent.
Sometimes your best ability is availability. Bissouma, he couldn't even put in 10 shifts with us. Skip, he's got an office in the physio room. And when we look at the midfield position, who has been here that has done better than him? And this is of course a damning indictment on the club, but who has been better than him?
Okay,
Benton.
Has he done a full season? Has he done one full season with us?
Yeah, but you can't say that he got.
Has he played 38 games? I mean, I don't care if you're Maradona, but if you only play 1 to 10 matches a season, what are you doing for me?
You can't fault that he had a bad forward.
He could have a potential. I mean, and the concern. If we're going to talk about, no, you're right. If we talk about Bentancur, the concerning part for me is that, I mean, that injury could be career-ending. By the way,
Yeah,
there are actual players that don't come back from injuries that he got. They are horrendous.
But to clarify, I'm not saying that I'm blaming him for that injury. I'm just saying, since Højbjerg has been here, name me a midfielder who has done better for us. And see, when I'm going to relate it back to the Dyer argument, I could name at least 3 center backs who has done better since Dyer have been here, and excluding Jan and Toby, because obviously
it's a damning indictment of our football club that are just not good enough. When Bissouma is fit, he will be a better player. But will he get fit? Will he get fit?
If he gets played correctly as well. Bissouma needs to play the right system.
If we play with a midfield 3 and Bissouma is allowed to do what he did at Brighton, he will be a monster.
Of course he will be. Incredible football player, technically as well.
We've seen how
I bought his damn jersey when we signed him. I was that excited about Bissouma.
I was.
I love Bissouma.
The jury's still out. He's had a bad season because he's got plenty of injuries, and he had COVID when we were out in the middle.
Yeah. The COVID
he
did
had long COVID, I believe.
Yeah,
he got it out there in Korea too.
Yeah.
He got it out there in Korea.
We've seen how much Højbjerg has dropped off when Bentancur isn't next to him. That's not saying a lot because Bentancur is quality. He is a quality footballer. He is the leader. He is an actual leader for all the people. Because when I first saw him play his first game at White Hart Lane, the first thing he did when he came on was he said, "Right, you go here, I will be here." Like he's actually trying to conduct the field, and that's when he's there. He's our leader. That's why we don't have an in-game leader anymore because KANE is too far away from everything to be the leader. Hotspur is too slow to be the leader because it's like he's running through treacle. Probably because he's playing too many games. Maybe if we were playing one game a week and we had plenty of cover, maybe Hotspur would be better because he is having those games.
But then that for me then tells me that he's not good enough at the level that we should be aspiring to.
He should be fitter, of course.
He should be fitter. But do you know what it is? And you touched on a point that I want to agree on. I massively agree on. Bentancur and Bissouma are the two that we need to work on. They're the spine. And then what you've got to do is you've got to debate. Do you go and say your next centre mid, is it a number 6 or a number 10? So does that mean that we go in for the likes of James Maddison? Or do we go in for
those though? We need 2 number 10s and a number 6. Because if we get
Ugarte from and stuff in and get someone that can play in that number 6, we need someone like that.
That is the key next year. That is the key signing. Forget centre halves. We need a centre half as well. We need 2 main signings. We need a number 10, like a James Maddison or a James Ward-Prowse. I don't really want James Ward-Prowse because for me, he's really just a free kick taker. And he's a set piece taker, which might be awesome with Gianni Vio there, because Gianni Vio hasn't left, and I don't think he is leaving. And I think he's still on the. He's
still there. Yeah, no, I know he's still there.
Conte guy. He's never been a Conte guy. He's never been a Conte guy. If we need a James Maddison and we need a destroyer, an actual destroyer, we need someone like a Wanyama or a Rodri. Or a Casemiro.
Yeah.
We need someone that's going to shield that back four and be that monster in midfield. If someone comes into midfield, we need someone that's going to absolutely poleaxe them. Just put them in the crowd. That's what we need. A Dave Mackay style player, a Graham Roberts. I know it's before
agreed. I think you're actually spot on.
A one-yard, someone that's going to smash someone when it's needed, because that's our defense is always exposed because we've got Bentancur is more of a number 8, and Hotspur is a bit more of a number 8 as well. He's not that defensive.
I feel like Hotspur is a weird one where I don't really know what his role is, because you would think he might be more of a number 6, but he's not good. He's not good defensively.
He's good to intercept. Intercepting,
he breaks up play in that sense. Yeah, I get that.
At cutting the ball out and then passing it to someone. But the problem is he's not passing to someone that's going to create with it, and that's the problem.
Agreed. Yeah. No, agreed. Yeah.
Here's the point. Do you think that maybe his weaknesses are highlighted more because of Bentancur and the fact that he's injured?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I agree. I think when Bentancur is in that midfield, his mistakes are less because he's got someone next to him that does a lot of the he got a lot of work next to him. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think this last sentence really hits the nail on the head. All weaknesses are much more noticeable since he's been out.
Because I like Skippy. Skippy works his arse off, but he doesn't have quality. He just
He's
I'm gonna save this question. I'm gonna start and I'm gonna save it because that is another talking point I want to bring up.
I don't know how Skip walked off the pitch after getting full haluva kicked. Sami Zayn would be proud of that. If anyone watches that, he got.
I feel like this is targeted to me.
I think it's targeted to me because I'm the one. So the question, Alan Sibley says, why are Romero's poor performances being blamed on playing in defense with Dyer and company? When first signed, we all said he was brilliant and he was playing with with Dyer and Davies. My point is, for me, why I blame Dyer and co is. I'm just going to pull it up.
And you guys never win anything, right? No. And you guys never win anything, right? No.
Oh, that's so funny. We never win anything. When you get enough, there's a certain amount of poison that makes you lethal. And my hypothesis with this whole thing is Romero came in. What was he showing? Passion, heart, fire, fight, desire, all these great adjectives, right?
He's his
But
own
what's
worst
happening
enemy.
now? What, Ben?
He's his own worst. He's too passionate. He's too hot-headed.
But my point is, when you play along a guy who doesn't give a shit about winning or losing, who cares more about a fucking pizza review with Dave the Predator Portnoy, to me, that's the problem. And you know what? I relate this to the same point that I make about Pedro Porro. If he stays here long enough, watch it. The fire, that passion in his eyes, it will dwindle away. It will fucking dwindle away because his club will eat at you.
It's like Eric Dyer's a stick of plutonium, and
Hang
bit
around
by
it long
bit,
enough, you get cancer. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, your teeth fall out, your hair goes. It's just
You been hanging out with Dyer, Paul?
I don't know. Sorry.
You been hanging out with Dyer?
Yeah.
Said
Look, I'm
you lose your hair.
I'm only 22, man. Fuck's sake.
Real quick, I do want to say 5 away from 550 on the Perchy TV.
Five of you.
There's 20 people watching. There might be 5 of y'all that ain't subscribed to the Perchy. I highly suggest go over there and subscribe. Show him some love. Let's get him to 550 channel that needs some love as well. And also in the why does that link not work? I put it in the damn link. I put your channel, Ben. But go over and Ben, you can probably put it in there. Go and subscribe to the Ben Kaufman. There it is.
Yeah, the thing that really pisses me off about Eric Dyer is he hides. He hides during games. He doesn't want to be responsible for anything. Every pass is either way up the pitch to no one or the hospital 5-foot pass. His positioning, he just wants to stay out of trouble. Like you're talking about running around pointing, the number of times I see him jogging back to his own 18-yard box, pointing at other players, not wanting to get involved. It's shocking, absolutely shocking.
Agreed.
It was really weird yesterday because Adrian Schroker's brought it up in the chat. Romero was better going forward yesterday than he was doing his actual job. Brilliant ball into Sonny. He hit the post and he could have got a goal. Maybe we should put Romero in midfield. I reckon if we play Udogie on one wing and we play Pedro Porro on the other in a 4-man midfield, by 2 centre backs.
Just by a centre back, and we've got a left back, Ben Davies. He's a bit standard, but maybe he'll do for one more year. And Emerson at right back, and that's it. You only need to work by one centre back, a goalkeeper. You're done.
You're right in that. And what was? Do you remember when we played under Pochettino? Do you remember? Vertonghen was brilliant at it. By the way, coming from centre half and travelling into it, his passing movement from midfield was unbelievable. And we can get there, by the way, because there is a weird, it's weird that we could actually get to that style of football and the way that we play there very quickly with a few changes. Because you go, Pedro Porro and Udogie have that very similar characteristics in the sense of the Walker and Rose. Romero has a lot of positives, by the way. I know people have this thing that because I criticise and I'm a critic, I hate the player. I actually think Romero is going to be one of the best centre halves for us we're going to have in a long time. I just think he's got a lot of fixing himself in a sense because he's very schoolboyish in a sense. He gets a bit carried away in a sense. But I think defensively, if you can go and get someone next to him, and I mentioned it earlier, like a proper leader next to him, you've got a good back four there. Then you get that number 6 in that basically plays similar to the Wanyama role did it under Pochettino when in that era. You're starting to see a resemblance, and you've got a midfield of the Bissouma and the Bentancur in midfield. You start looking forward and go, do you know what? We can start looking at a team here that can play much more progressively, but won't completely capitulate defensively. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I just can't wrap my head around a world where Eric Dyer continues to start for us. I just refuse to believe.
No, I agree. But I've been saying that for nearly half a decade, to be fair.
He gets a contract. I want to see 5,000 people outside the stadium.
Yeah.
That is a true indictment that whoever the coach is, no matter how bad he plays, Levy's giving him contracts. If he gets a 4-year deal, which is
Oh,
probably
God.
3 or 4
I
years,
read it was a 3-year deal, but yeah, if it's 4 years, that's
every single
chaos.
person outside of that stadium, outside that club shop, because
Agreed.
that's what we need. Because it's not just proof; it's the proof. It's set in stone. It's as
Good night, Alan Sibley.
big up, Al.
Big up, Alan,
That's a
mate.
chocolate
Well
bar.
played.
I knew Ben was gonna say something about
Surely,
the damn chocolate.
Ben, just on what
Surely-
you were saying. Sorry.
I was just going to say, surely all contract negotiations should be on hold. I mean, who's doing these deals at the moment?
If he's given a
agree.
contract without there being a coach there, it should be set in concrete. It should be stone wall.
We should not be
outside
offering anybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. We should not be
That is
offering.
the end. We all go
It's
out.
not, and it's not.
Notice
it's not
as soon
necessarily-
as Paratici's out the door, what's the first thing that happened? Eric Dyer rumored to be getting a new 3-year contract.
But it was before that though. This is what I was just about to say.
Was it during the appeal though when he stepped away when he wasn't
He was
allowed to
still-
work?
He was still working for us before the appeal. He was still technically working with us, and the only saving grace I will have here is that a lot of those rumours and a lot of those talks stopped when Paratici stepped down from Tottenham.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm maybe reading 2 and 2 and getting 5 here, but I think the rumours disappeared. We haven't heard anything since then. And maybe it was Paratici that was the one that was dealing with it, and now he's not.
Stupid. I think if they know that he's, but again, Paratici is supposed to be the guy in charge of footballing matters. He's not anymore. But then we signed Jed Spence, and it takes 8 weeks, and Paratici is not involved. So maybe Paratici might not.
But are we 100% sure that Paratici wasn't involved? Because I think
he's resigned. He's fully resigned. There's clubs.
No. I'm on about the Jed Spence one. Was it genuine that he
that Levy did the deal? He also did the deal with Richarlison as well. He did the deal.
And Bissouma.
Yeah. And Bissouma.
And Bissouma. I know that was definite because that he
wasn't Levy's brother-in-law Jed Spence's agent or some bullshit thing like that?
He's
come on.
friends with that family.
Okay. Well, then there you go. I think this is the bit that I think we were sort of sidetracking to in the sense that, and I think it's where I get very frustrated with the ownership and as well I want to change its football club that it's square pegs, round holes in every transfer window. As I said, for me,
no plan, But you
it's
know what?
never
We
built
haven't.
up.
Sorry, Perch. Go ahead.
No. Sorry, no. I was just going to say, but I think you were just about to allude to what I was going to say is that actually that it's not about for me the money that we spend. We spend money in transfer windows. When people go, we don't spend enough. And I said, no, you're wrong. We're the 4th highest spenders in the Premier League.
We spend it.
We spend money horrendously. We spend money terribly, and it's right. Richarlison was a great example. Richarlison's a prime example. I'm one of those. I will sit there and give him the benefit of the doubt on certain situations with him. I think this season he's been massively mismanaged. However, the big caveat is if we were going to spend £60 million in the summer, last summer,
we should have bought a centre back.
Was it a centre half or a backup striker? Does that make sense?
When we score the most goals in the Premier League, almost, or at least
we score the most goals in the Premier League, but we're the fourth worst defence in the league. Yeah. That says everything. And you're right in a sense. And this is where for me is where I want change is that I want to see a proper plan at this football club. I've been saying it all season. I just want to see us to go, do you know what? We're going to get a manager in to play this system. The director of football is going to follow exactly that plan, who then reports from... And they report down from Scotland.
Sorry to cut you off, Perch.
Yeah, it's fine.
Look how well Brighton are doing. And look who's running Brighton. Former directors of Tottenham. A quarter of that board used to work for Tottenham in the directors board. And they all left after Levy came in.
Yep.
They were all there. Like we had the people to build this model that he wanted to build, and they've all got pushed out. We had Paul Mitchell and he's going to go to Chelsea, by the way. I don't know how.
Is he actually going to Chelsea? I heard it was Liverpool, but yeah.
I've heard inklings that him.
Yeah, he's linked with Chelsea.
The reason they've not announced Poch yet, because I think Poch to go to Chelsea, I think he wants Paul Mitchell. I think he wants.
He definitely wants someone that he knows in between him and Todd Bowley.
If Chelsea get Paul Mitchell and Poch with that much money, game over. Game over.
Yeah.
Chelsea
the thing is
the league the next 4 years because they will do what they did at Tottenham. They will cut out the toxicity. They will bring young, hungry players, and they've already got players that.
They've already got them there.
Charlie's.
Yeah. I think Chelsea. I think Chelsea are fucked.
I don't think they are.
Paul Mitchell, Pochettino, Harry Kane. Bring those three in. Chelsea will be dominant.
Yep, agreed. Absolutely spot on. And do you know what? I'm exactly in the same camp as Ben here. Go for it, mate.
No, I don't think so because they've still got Todd Bowley, and I think he's worse than Daniel Levy. I think
if they bring in a Paul Mitchell and
we brought in a Paul Mitchell. Well, he won't allow him. He won't allow him. Ted Bowley thinks he knows more about football than anyone else. He's blown it. He's blown his wad.
But do you? Here's a question, and I always raise this about Chelsea. It's great. I didn't think we'd be talking about Chelsea today. It's great. No, the thing is this is a great one. You say Todd Bowley hasn't done it right, but has he not? Yeah, I don't. I think they have spent a lot of money, but what they've gone and done is they've kind of done their rebuild in two transfer windows. And basically, what they're going to have to do now, for them, the biggest thing for them is to go and offload a load of players now. They've kind of done the signings. Listen, the likes of Enzo Fernandez, Mudryk, people are mocking him. He will come good. There's a reason why the likes of Arsenal wanted him. Arsenal don't just go and sign nobodies. They scout players well. And the fact is the big point is that Brentford wanted Mudryk before Arsenal. And Brentford very rarely get a transfer wrong. They scout very well. So I think the likes of Mudryk will come good. They've signed young players. They have got young players in that team.
Don't forget about Nkunku and the fact didn't they sign some French left back? What was his name?
They could still get Gvardiol if they're going to spend that money. They could still get Gvardiol.
And what do Chelsea need right now before anything else?
They need a goal scorer.
A goal scorer. And is there a goal scorer that's very unhappy in London right now? Yep. Is there a goal scorer that would preferably like to stay in London? Yep.
Yeah.
And is there one that's got 1 year left on his contract? Yep.
I want to go back to the tinfoil hat thing real quick, Perch, because you brought him up. Harry Kane in his post-match press conference yesterday, dropping a little maybe subliminal messages to some Spurs fans who want to read too much into things like I'd like to do. Yeah. He said, I give 120.
Join the dots, Jacob. Here we go.
He goes,
you've got all the photos on your wall with bits of string going from photo to photo. I love it, man.
Yep. Yeah, I'm connecting the dots here. And Perchy was just connecting a lot. Unhappy. Wants to stay in London. Then what Ben's saying, Pochettino, Paul Mitchell. I mean, it's all lining up, right? So last night in the press conference, Harry Kane looked dead inside. He looked like an absolute zombie, and he's just like, fucking suck. I don't know what the hell's going on over here. This is just kind of the state of our team. We shouldn't be conceding 3-4 goals in the first 20 minutes, but that's kind of where we are as a team. And he's just talking. And then, they're asking him more questions, and one of his answers is, I give 120% no matter where I am. Where have you been, sir? I thought you only played for us. I thought, where else are you going to play? Yeah, to me, that didn't sound good.
Think. Do you know what's really bad? And we had the situation when we hadn't got a manager. It feels weird. This has felt like even worse deja vu from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Does anyone else feel that? Well,
but that's the thing. Are we in the same position where Ryan Mason as interim? We don't know who our next manager is going to be, and now Kane wants to leave.
But do you know what's even worse with the Kane situation now? Kane's got 1 year left on his contract now, not 3.
No, our backs are against
So
the wall
now-
with that because no one's
now
going to
we're-
spend what he's worth right now. You can
And
just
Chelsea
wait 12
will.
months.
Chelsea
They
have already
might.
proven they will spend money. And
You think they'll throw 120? I think they have to pay an extra
they'll-
tax
they'll-
because a rival
Nah.
tax. You
Nah,
don't
they
think so?
won't.
You don't
Listen,
think
hear
Daniel
me
Levy
out.
will not budge for 120?
Hear me out with the Chelsea. This is, and do you know what? This is one of the best. It's the worst. This is one of the best, but also one of the worst situations for us as a club. When I say the worst situation, a legend could be leaving our football club. The best thing is Daniel Levy is going to be sweating buckets because no matter what he does, he's in the shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, monetization again. Apologies.
No, we already talked. We already.
No, we have.
One
because-
goal. Spam
He is-
that in the chat, ladies.
No, he is.
Purple
And Daniel
gold.
Levy right now is going to be sweating buckets because he could do one or two things.
Gold.
Exactly. The purple and gold spread it. And here's my point. Opportunity number one. He says Harry Kane is not for sale. Okay? We all go, great, we kept our player. But he knows he's going to lose a player for nothing in 12 months' time.
Yeah.
Second option number two is sell Harry Kane. And we're very inclined that Harry Kane wants to break Alan Shearer's record. So we expect him to stay in the UK. There's only two clubs available, realistically, that will sign him. Chelsea, Man United.
I would even
So-
throw Newcastle in there. I know Isaac is great,
They spend
but
money
they
on
might
Isaac.
want to
They've
run
got-
two strikers up top, Isaac and Kane. That'd be deadly.
Trust me. This Newcastle won't, because what they'll do is they won't need a Harry Kane now. And it sounds crazy, this is Newcastle, but what they'll do is they'll invest the money they would have spent elsewhere. They need to improve a lot of other players and stuff like that. So I'm going to write off Newcastle just for this conversation. So there's two teams. Man United is realistic, but Man United at the moment are probably going to want to look for a sort of a younger, much more dynamic striker because they want to go long term with Ten Hag. So they'll probably look at the likes of Osimhen. I'm just shouting names out. I'm just saying I'm using
I
names.
can
as
see
it.
them. But here's the
second
thing.
one,
Go ahead.
the second one was Chelsea. Chelsea right now have got all the pegs, but they haven't got that one peg that will put 20, 30, 40 goals a season in. Harry Kane does that. And do you know what the terrible thing is we all say Levy won't sell to Chelsea. What if Chelsea go, here's 100 million quid, go on Daniel, make a decision. Because he can easily, he then has to go, I lose a player for nothing in 12 months' time, or I get 100 million pounds for a player that's 30, that will be 30 years of age, and with 1 year left on his contract. And people always clip what I say when I say all this. They go, "Oh, you're trying to sell Harry Kane." No, I'm not. I'm just trying to be realistic because Chelsea are the sort of team that will go and test that resolve.
Yeah.
And
multiple times. But I've heard that Chelsea bid 100 million. I've heard it. I don't know from anyone else. I've heard it from little places. I've heard it from places that they actually had an offer on the table. Chelsea want Harry Kane. Todd Bowley wants Harry Kane. And he knows with Pochettino there, with Paul Mitchell there, with a young team behind him, he can get Harry Kane. He can do it. If he put and they're known to spend too much money. If they come to Tottenham and they will put 120, give us Harry Kane. We desperately need a striker. And if Levy turns down 120 million, even us as the Levy out brigade, they're going to say, "Why the hell did you not take that 120 million? You could have rebuilt."
But do you know what? I think this is one of the greatest things about this for Daniel Levy. He's in a lose-lose whatever he does. Because if he sells Harry Kane, everyone goes, "Why the hell have you just sold our club legend to Chelsea?" And if he doesn't sell him, they go, "He's not signing a contract. It's 120 million quid, Daniel." So whatever he does here, he's in the wrong no matter what he does there. And it's a good feeling.
Coys Daniel.
You can go, do you know what? You can press it on him.
Coys Daniel.
Coys Daniel.
But
if the first thing he will do if Harry Kane goes to Chelsea is he will offer Son a 10-year contract. He will panic. And he knows he has to keep Son will have to.
Here's a question while we're on the topic of KANE. For the panel, assuming KANE is not sold in the summer, but also doesn't sign a new contract, do you think that there's a chance he could sign one during the next season if he sees significant change? I say no. I think this was our last hoorah with KANE.
I think he's done.
I don't think so.
If he doesn't, starting to, you know that look on Kane's Conte's face at the end of his he looked ill. KANE is starting to get that same thing. He's starting to look physically sick with the players.
Agreed. I don't see KANE being here any longer. If he doesn't sign a new contract with Spurs, I don't think he will do. By the way, I meant to say if we don't sell him, if we don't sell him in this window coming up, I genuinely think it will be our last season next season with Harry Kane. And I hate to say it because my flat has got pictures of him all round it. I genuinely think he's
a legend.
Of course he is. Chelsea, though, he is still a legend.
Of course he is.
What that man has done over the last X amount of years, he has carried. If we took Harry Kane out of this team, we would be relegated. That's how bad.
We would be in a terrible position.
We would be in an absolute relegation dogfight because he's the only person that creates, he's the only person that can defend, and he's the only person that gives a shit.
And he's the only one that scores goals consistently every season. It's the one thing that is the big thing. It's all well and good when some people say about Son and all that. Like I said, it's great. Son does well, and I love Son. He doesn't score like
suffered.
Son's incredible. But he doesn't score in the same rate.
They would score so many more goals.
Here's the thing. All right, if we're gonna start talking about Son, I don't need none of this getting on Son's bag. He's got 4 goals in the last 6 matches.
No one is. No.
I've been on this Sonny train the entire time. That I don't think this is Sonny's fault. There is no one creating for him and Kane. You cannot expect Son to create goals for himself like Harry Kane does. Son is world class. I know some people in the community don't think he is I think he's world class, which means he's in the top 3 in his position in the world. But he's not Harry Kane. Harry Kane is elite. He can create.
That's the biggest shout. Yeah,
there is that world class bracket, and there is that elite bracket where Harry Kane is. Sonny cannot get the ball and create something every week. He did it against Burnley. He cannot do it every week, and that's what we are expecting him to do with this crap behind him. Sonny, we've got nothing to give to you. We need someone that's going to give the ball to Sonny around the 6-yard box, put it in the back of the net, which is what he got against Liverpool. Ball, back of the net. Ball, he's having to create 30-yard screamers every week because no one else can create a shit for him. And that is the indictment, that we've got 2 class players and they're having to do everything. The entire linchpin of the football club is on them 2. If those 2 do not perform, we are done. We are done.
No, I agree.
So I'm in a bit of a quandary over Kane at the moment. I mean, there's no doubting he's our best player.
Yeah.
But when I hear more and more talk at the player committee, we all moan about Eric Dyer being in on that, but Harry Kane is in that as much as anything. And I think he's just wielding a little bit too much power. Maybe we would be better without him. I mean, that's hard to say because he is so good, but I mean, not from a technical.
That is fair play. Fair play, Paul. Real quick, I want you to finish your point, but that is fair play because that clip I've played on this channel maybe 1,000 times of Eric Dyer laughing with Dave the Predator. Harry Kane and Matt Doherty were out there with him that night too. So I just is it just for the spirit of the club? Is it time for him to go? And if he does go, I wouldn't mind him going to Chelsea because, like you, Ben, I've heard you talk about Chelsea. They are the abyss, in my opinion, not from a sporting point of view, but just from their fans, not the new Johnny-come-latelys that came along with Abramovich, but the hardcore of fans there are absolutely disgusting. And I think that's part of the problem at Chelsea. They have got no core. At least Tottenham have got a core of fans that are all right. We're all, crazy and nutcases, but there's a lot of us. Chelsea don't have that. They've got no fibre. And I think that
especially with a guy like Todd Bowley in charge, I think they could be looking at relegation next year. You know, you sign a player on an 8-year contract to be all nice and clever with your accounting. Well, if they're shit,
They just
you've got
extended
a
it by
shit
2 more
player
years,
for 8
haven't they?
years.
But if they're not, if you have Enzo Fernandez, who I think can become world class in the next 8
I do
years,
as well.
Christopher Nkunku, who can become world class in the next 8 years, Mudryk, who can become a great talent. I'm not saying world class, but he can become a great talent in the next 8 years. These are guys I wish we could sign. I mean, yes, he's playing FIFA out here with his money.
Do you know what Chelsea are? Chelsea at the moment are like, you know, when you get one of those builder gingerbread houses and stuff, they just need that person to build the frosting and build the house. They have that's the only thing. They've got all the
They have the graham crackers. Yeah, they got exactly.
They've got the tools. They just haven't got.
That's what scares me. That's what scares me.
And I'll tell you
I
what. Do you know what's
thought you were
horrible?
going to say Chelsea eat children, which would be far off.
But do you know what the horrible thing is what's going to be worse is Pochettino being successful there. What's going to be terrifying is Pochettino and KANE being successful there. That is heartbreaking to say, by the way.
Gold, baby, purple and gold.
And I wanted to make another. I'm going to go. Oh yeah, go. Do your thing.
I just wanted to talk about this because we were still talking about the whole KANE thing.
Yeah.
Adrian Schroka is of the mindset KANE will run down his contract and decide his future next season.
I was just going to.
Doesn't that put us in a harder position? Perchy, yeah, doesn't that put us in a hard position? Because if he goes for free, we get screwed. I don't know. That's my
okay. So I'm going to just ping on what Adrian said here, and this is I don't normally do it, but this is tin hat business.
There we go. Come on, Perchy, wear the hat.
This is tin
on
hat.
The ground, you know.
Here's my one. What if KANE runs down his contract? Because what happens at the end of 2024? Well, the end of next season. Haaland's multi-million-pound release clause gets activated by Real Madrid. That 200 and stupid release clause, 200 odd million euro release clause that's in his contract at the end of the 24 season.
And Man City buy Harry Kane,
and then Man City get Harry Kane on a free. Imagine that.
I mean, I could see Harry Kane walking on a free to. I could see this happening. What Adrian's saying is him running down his contract. But I think his devotion to Spurs, there has to be something within him that says, "Let me try to help you at least, maybe to sign like a burner contract, so that way a team will have to pay some kind of respectable amount for him, so he doesn't walk."
Yeah, with a get out clause, you know.
Done with him. He's done with him after the gentleman's agreement, and there could be. What if City do not win? Let's say Man City don't win the Champions League, even with Haaland next year. Harry Kane's got 1 year left on his contract. What if City don't win the Champions League and just say, right, we're going to have Harry Kane as well. We're going to have Kane and we're going to have Haaland. We're going to play
Imagine
Kane.
that. They could as well.
And Kane and De Bruyne playing in the
they could go back to a 4-4-2 and just go, do you know what? We're going to play 4-4-2. Two rapid wingers with the two. They could have the two best strikers.
Like Bassett. He's just going to come in. Man, 4-4.
4-4 fucking 2.
Yeah, but have one of the best attacking midfielders in a 4 in midfield would be insane.
I'd love to see Haaland and Kane play up front with De Bruyne. That would be filthy. That would be like.
Do you know what? It wouldn't shock me.
Big up, Bobby K.
It's a sort of thing Man City would go and do as well. But
none of you boys probably have. Any of you seen the anime Gundam Wing?
No, not enough.
I've heard of it.
Kane and Haaland up front would be like the Wing Zero. The Wing Zero it had a system which made the pilot supercharged, and it had a gun on it. It was a Buster rifle, and it just destroyed everything. That is what that would. Utter blade, and then you'd have your Buster rifle up front. You would annihilate everything. Real Madrid away from home, Haaland and Kane, bang! It wouldn't matter who you had on your team. The Gundam everyone.
There is a topic I did want to talk about.
Instead, our team has got those anime characters, the shy boy that just blushes when he sees a bit of boob.
Eric Dyer seeing an attacker. Go ahead. Right this way. I equated Eric Dyer to being a host at a restaurant, and he's literally just, as soon as you enter our half of the field, he says, right this way. Table for 2, right this way. Do you want to sit on the right or you want to sit on the right this way? But I do want to talk about something that is burning me. It is the
Before
question
you
that
go-
I brought up on the poll. What?
Before you
what's
get
up,
to that, Eric Dyer is like the guy that used to stand at Turnstile 36 where I used to enter at White Hart Lane. He'd just do that and then just walk through.
Oh, that guy.
That
Oh,
video?
no.
That video, the guy that's like...
That's Eric Dyer. That's Eric Dyer. He's that steward.
God, that's a hilarious video.
I love
There
Turnstile.
is something I do want to talk
There is
about that is...
I loved Turnstile 36 at White Hart Lane. I miss that beautiful. I miss it so much. That every week I grew up going through that.
I miss White Hart Lane, period, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just, I
Turnstile-
miss the crappy plastic seats. I miss the disgusting toilets. Like, it was just proper football, weren't it?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this real quick. It's the thing I'm basically put up in the poll. Thoughts on the ref and VAR at Anfield. 72% are saying always biased. Jota's a red all day. I'm going to pull up the picture here, and it's infuriating to me. And before everyone starts saying anything in the chat or on the panel, I want to say something about this. So this is a still image of Diogo Jota heel kicking Oliver... I almost said Harry Winks. God, I hate that I keep always doing that when it comes to Skippy.
Do not disrespect.
Oliver, the amount of disrespect, a huge heap of it. So if you look at this, clear contact, studs to the face. I know people are going to say, oh, you know, I was on the football tears and Liverpool fans were trying to say that Harry Winks' head got in the way of Diogo Jota making a clear attempt at the ball, a very clear attempt at the ball. So what I'm going to say about this is, one, that's bullshit. And then two, the only other thing they want to say is, oh, well, Oliver Skipp shouldn't have even been on the pitch because look at the tackle he had on Luis Diaz. And I'm going to say this about that really shitty, awful, lazy take that people want to say Skipp shouldn't have been here. People get stomped on the ankle and the foot all fucking game, every match day. Okay? And it goes unpenalized. It gets yellow. They hardly even review that shit. Okay? But what doesn't happen every single match day, every fucking game, is this. This doesn't happen. So the fact that they want to use that as an argument, oh, well, this or that or the other, to me, this is inexcusable. This is blatant bias. Anyone who watches this channel enough knows that I don't like to blame the ref for a result because you have 90 other minutes outside of their shitty decision to change things. But this, to me, is a clear example of when I can no longer take that stance in this instance, because if you look at it, this is also the guy who goes on to score the game winner because Lucas Moura played a perfectly weighted pass to him. Lucas Moura with the perfect, just right into his feet, right where Diogo Jota needed it. Clinical as ever from our number 27, Lucas Moura. But that's besides the point. My point is this. You take studs to the face and you don't even go, like, the ref, you can see his legs. His legs are right there. He sees it. How in the world can you see this live? Can the refs look at it on replay? You see this image here and VAR not say, maybe you should look at this one under the hood, coach. Maybe you should look this one up because I think you might have got it wrong. Yeah. I'm not even going to talk about the Richarlison one because the Richarlison one, to me, sometimes, you know, the boy who cried wolf, that's just going to be the story it's going to be. This time when the wolf did show up, no one believed the boy. And guess what? You got taken down in the box. But you know what? Man United game, anytime someone touched you, you fell over and looked at the ref immediately. To me, you need to stop doing that shit and you need to play ball. Get your ass up and play ball because, God, I mean, we are not here to fucking cry to the ref and ref saved me, okay? But him getting pulled down in the box, I'm not even mad about that because those, you win by those, you lose by those, that's just going to be what it's going to be. But what isn't going to be what it's going to be is fucking studs in your face. Now you're bleeding and you get taken out the game. Yeah. That is a game-changing moment.
The Undertaker would be proud of that big boot. That was full attitude era shit. That was that is Undertaker and KANE stuff. Big boots in the face. I mean,
it makes me so mad.
If this was an orange, I would say some people would give that as a red. Some people would not give that as a red because he got the ball first. He did actually get the ball and he wasn't totally out of control. This was totally out of control.
Look how high his foot is. It's even with his own face. So in any world you wrap this, whether Skip is lunging in with his head to make a ball, your foot should not be that high.
Yeah.
It should.
I think you're right, and I think the bit that really bothered me with it was when people went, "It wasn't intentional." Well, no, I didn't. No one said it was, but it was reckless. And do you know what it was? At the time I saw it, I went,
I'm not intentional. Just sticking your
like. And the thing is the argument was that he had his eyes on it. I said, but you've got to bear in mind, like,
I've been sent off for less as a keeper. I've been sent off for dropping the shoulder on a motherfucker inside my box, which to me, you in my box, this is my playland. Welcome to the danger zone. But
isn't this just some of how bad refereeing is in this country?
it is Perchy, and that's a good point that you bring up. But I brought this up on the football terrace yesterday. Do you think? And I want to ask this question to y'all. If you look across at the 5 biggest leagues, our referees are paid, I think, the 4th lowest, like one of the lowest out of the top 5, if not the lowest out of the top 5. Per match, they're paid the lowest. Do you think paying them more, then therefore we can expect, like, let me pose a situation for you. We start paying the referees more, and then at the end of matches, we also have a press conference, not just with the coaches, not just with a player from each team, but with the referee and the head referee, the number 1, not the 4th official, not the fucking guys running up and down the sidelines. I'm talking about the dude who's the man in the middle, and the guy who's in the headset saying, "Yeah, fuck that. He didn't. Yeah. Oliver Skip definitely lunged in with his head and tried to make an attempt." To me, Conte hit the nail on the head. In Italy, the referees get a camera and a mic pointed in their face. Explain yourself. Explain yourself here. No. Tell me what you saw here.
Well, it's just the indictment of English football. We have to blame the managers. We blame the easiest people. Whereas in Italy, let's look at our injury crisis just as an example. You never ask the manager about the injury crisis at Juventus. They will bring out the fitness expert and they'll say, "Why is there a fitness issue?" And the fitness guy will say, "We've got this because this. There is no accountability at any level in English football because it's probably just because it's corrupt at all levels."
Yeah. But do you know what it was? And do you know what the thing is what irritates me more than anything? I wouldn't even be as annoyed. I genuinely would not have been as annoyed if the ref had come back and said, "The reason why we gave it as a yellow card and not a red card was because of this." Listen, I would have disagreed massively, but at least I'd have gone, "Do you know what? At least they had actual rational reasoning for it." I can't, and the fact is what's worse is we don't get that snippet, and we don't get that conversation. So we can't go, "Okay, well, the reason why is because he believed that Jota didn't intentionally do it." Okay, fine. I can disagree with it, but we can understand the reasoning for it. I can't find the reason how it hasn't been given as a red card. It was absolutely criminal. You did that in the street, you'd be arrested.
Yeah, that's assault with a deadly weapon, especially if there's little spikies coming off the bottom of your shoes. I'm going to also say this. If anyone's seen the movie 300 with Gerard Butler, when he says, "This is Sparta."
This is Sparta.
I mean, he did that with violence and the intent to hurt. I'm not saying Jota did that. I'm not saying he had the intent. But your boots that high, you should be fucking penalized. What happened to Sonny whenever he was falling and just extended his leg and it hit a guy in the chest? Sent off. Don't attack anyone with your studs. But it's Diogo Jota. He's got such a little baby face. He looks so soft. His face is like bath tissue that wipes your ass so great. How could we ever penalize such a Portuguese legend like Diogo Jota?
So Sonny got bloody sent off against Chelsea for a stupid a kick out. I know they could say, "Oh, it's a kick out." It's still a high foot into someone's midsection / face. There's a like Sami Zayn would be proud of that. That's his finishing move in the WWE.
I was going to say, you do look a bit like him, don't you?
Me and him would probably not see eye to eye, but it was a full blown haluva kick in the face. That's a finishing move. That's not a football tackle.
Yeah,
that's how
I'm telling you. Whenever I trained martial arts myself, or excuse me, kickboxing. I went to a kickboxing gym for a few weeks, and it kicked my ass, and I stopped going. But whenever I was getting ready to fight a motherfucker, I was always like, "How tall are they? How high do I need to get my
You've got
leg
to
to
do
kick
Dyer.
him in the face? How long? And I can kick Dyer in the face. I can kick someone in the
what we
face
have to
who's
do
as
to it.
tall as me. I'm 6'4", Dyer's 6'4". It's a perfect matchup. We got Paul right here. He's gonna fight the Spurs social admin on the undercard. We're trying to
Absolutely.
get this linked up at Cambridge. Yeah, putting in the work.
What did I call it? A
We're looking
library
forward to the
brawl
weekend.
match. The Cambridge University library brawl match.
That sounds.
Bobby
is
K, am
all
I the only one that got pledged? Oh wait, real quick, Ben. I know you said you got to go. You've had a long day. I saved this comment for you from Bob Spur. So real quick, I'm gonna read it. Happy birthday to you. I love the beans that you brew. Your weird believing Kit Kats are chocolates, but we still kind of love you. Benjamin, happy birthday, my friend. Thank you for joining, taking some
Ben,
time
thank
out
you
of your
so much,
special
mate. It's been
day.
absolutely
Happy birthday,
Sorry to
man.
the 2 viewers we lost while I was singing. Apologies for that. My wife hates it too. My son hates it. He'll cry if I sing for too long. My wife hates it. So I understand why you left while I sang that. But happy birthday, Ben. Let me.
Thank you so much, boys. Always
Can you
a pleasure.
Can you put your link in the chat one more time?
Yeah.
And if y'all don't subscribe for his birthday, I'll fucking find you, and you're gonna be on the
Yeah, sub
undercard
this
too.
guy, man. Honestly,
You're gonna
we're
get
gonna.
tired.
I can't wait for your review tomorrow of all the purple and
Oh
gold
yeah, I'm
reviews.
going
I'm
through. That's
excited for this.
tomorrow.
That's gonna be a good one. Yeah, that's gonna
As
be a good
many of
one.
you know, I made a lot of emblems for all the members of the YouTube community. I did Jacobs, I did Perch, I did Savers, I did Tottenham away, I did
Your
Bob
Savage one's
Hayes,
great with the dog.
I did all of them. I did almost every single channel, and I did Gagumas, which is amazing. We need to see that on Gaguma soon because your one's really good.
Even done it, even for like the
I did it for people in the
viewers,
chat.
all
So I
the
did
viewers that are on.
Fantastic. I did Carl Simple has the amount of them, but we will be
Man,
reviewing
big up to you
on
for
the
that. That
Coffee
was
Company. We will be going through all the emblems I made for the Spurs YouTube community. Send me an email, Paul, if you want one. I'll give you one. We'll find a way. And yeah, find us on the Coffee Company, your place of chill. And we're just there to be nice to each other. We're there to have a nice time.
We don't talk football there
We
either.
don't talk toxic.
Anytime, yeah, y'all always call me out anytime. I remember there was something going on, and I brought up some football chat in the comment. Everyone on Brewing Bollocks was like, "Shut up, Jacob!
Yeah.
Shut up!
Booted off if you talk football.
Read the room." Yeah. Oh, that's
yeah.
fun. Big up, Ben.
that.
There's
Thank
he
you
put
so
his
much.
link.
Coffee Company, Tottenham on tour. You know
Yeah.
where to find
Do
me.
it.
Purple and gold until Tottenham are sold. And as always, Levy out.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do
everyone.
the "if you
Out and
smell what the
What
cough."
the cough is brewing.
There we go. Happy birthday, my friend. Have a
Happy
great
birthday,
day.
mate. Enjoy
Enjoy
the
your
last
evening, yeah.
39 minutes of your birthday. And it's gone.
There he goes. Big up him. Real quick, Bobby K said, "Am I the only one that got pleasure?" Watching him limp was hilarious, but honestly, I was too pissed off in the moment to take pleasure.
I
in
didn't
it.
even see
I
it.
was
fuming after.
he was limping because he was flailing all over the place. And you know what else he did? That guess what?
Such a
It's
knob.
okay to do because guess what? We're at Anfield. Is he got to run up to the fourth official and was like, "Nah, nah, 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 German shit, nah, 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 nah," and then left. And what happened to him? Nothing. I just don't understand how some of this shit can happen like that. Honestly
I mean,
and
I'll talk about
truly.
Lucas Moura for a bit.
Absolutely.
Lucas Moura. This is a great one, by the way. I'm gonna have a little bit of a rant here.
Here we go.
He's travelled to Everton. He's travelled to Liverpool twice now.
Big up,
And the
Tony.
first time he comes on and gets himself a straight red card, he comes back and then does it again in Liverpool and goes and basically gifts a win. He's basically since his he can't play a game, can he? Honestly, he can't play another game of football. At this
I'm gonna give you a
football club.
few reasons why I'm laughing at Lucas Moura right now. One, I'm gonna take I started that comment by the way, Tony. Thank you for your comment there. First of all, Lucas Moura came out in support of a fascist dictator in Brazil. on a
Oh
Brazilian.
gosh,
So
we're turning this political now.
Well, here we
God.
go, man.
I know I got
expecting
okay.
that.
So I'm laughing at him because the guy that he was promoting got overthrown in power, and they said no to fascism in Brazil, which big up Brazil for that. So LOL at you for that, Lucas. And then I'm also going to LOL at Lucas for the fact that he ain't done shit since Amsterdam. But there's one thing he done good, which I use as an example for the atrocious handball call that he got, I think during lockdown. I know Jose was here. He was falling to the ground and he got hit in the hand, and then they overruled
against
it.
Sheffield United, weren't it, Bramall Lane?
It was some bullshit. And then it's
that
happened
was
about
horrendous.
it was horrible. And it's happened a bunch since, and they haven't called him ever again since that moment. So big ups for that. But then also LOL at you, Lucas Moura, because the last 2 matches that he's been a part of for Tottenham Hotspur, he's been the reason why we dropped 6 points. So that's a lot of fun.
I mean, his 2 cameo appearances in Liverpool have been horrendous. I mean, you couldn't ask for a worse cameo, could you?
I wish I could. I wish I could play the video without y'all seeing it. But Liverpool, if y'all follow United Spurs on Twitter, it's in the replies because I replied to it. But Liverpool put out a video of like their angle from the ending, right?
Oh, it's shocking.
And
I think I've seen that.
I didn't realize how much space the bastard had. He had so much room. Just corral the ball and hold it there for a second. He just one-touched it straight to Jota.
I was trying to work out. And the thing is, I watched that video. You're right. I did watch that video several times. I still don't know what he done. Like, I'm trying to work out what he was thinking. So, like, I could kind of get it if he'd scuffed it because he was trying to play it back to the keeper, or he'd had poorly, his accuracy was poor to pass to maybe Romero, whoever it was next to him. I genuinely don't know what he was doing. Does that make sense? Like, as I was saying, like, you can sometimes go, oh, okay, I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to play it back to the keeper, but he's just completely miskicked it. He's miskicked it. What was he doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah. What was he doing?
What is he doing? That's what, maybe playing with the U21s, he thought that I don't know.
Good.
He thought he could do that. He's done that. Maybe he did that a few times for the U21s and was like, I'll get away with this here. But I mean, again, if you're looking at it from a Liverpool's perspective, how could you ask for a better through ball?
I mean,
Alisson to Lucas to Jota for the winner. That's a Man City type of play to end a match.
Do you know what it is though? And what a let off, by the way, for Liverpool. And do you know what? Do you know what's more frustrating? Because we were 3-0 down. We're going kind of slightly back there. And I kind of just went game over now. Like, Liverpool are going to finish this game. It's going to finish 4-1. It's game over. We might get ourselves back in it, but it's all but over. I looked at it and went, we had chances after we went 3-0 down. KANE scored. Then you saw the chance. There was a chance by Kulusevski, who, by the way,
Kulusevski should have. Oh my! That was my last topic that I wanted to get on to tonight.
Oh, we'll get on to that in a second because I've got a lot to talk about him as well. And Heung-min-Son had a chance. I think KANE had another chance, especially in the first half. Then second half, I think we hit the post twice. Romero hit the post. You just kind of went, what an opportunity! And I genuinely think we're cursed when we go to Anfield. Like,
you gonna put the
genuinely
tinfoil
cursed.
hat on, or is this a voodoo hat?
No, I think this is voodoo. This is
Okay.
genuine. I genuinely think we're cursed because I think the last probably 3 or 4 times we've been to Anfield, I've kind of gone away and went, they didn't batter us. So, like, they didn't batter us. Yes, okay, listen, park the first 15 minutes for it. I didn't think that they were absolutely dominant against us. I thought we were just shit in the first 15 minutes and just gave them a 3-0 head start. Other games, there's moments in those games where you've gone, if they go in, I think there was one, I remember I was actually there. Sissoko marauding forward, and then he goes and lofts it into Rose by the away end. And I kind of went, oh no. Like, but I genuinely think we're cursed when we go to Anfield. We've won there twice in the Premier League era. It's horrendous.
I mean,
I
even
don't know.
whenever. Go ahead, Paul.
I mean, yeah, maybe we are a bit cursed at Anfield, but for all the talk of red cards and Lucas and this and that, we lost the game in the first 20 minutes and we were shit in the first half. So everything after that, it was already written that we were going to lose that game after that first half. So, coming close is all irrelevant. As usual, Tottenham have only played one half of passable football. We've been doing it all season. At the beginning of the season, we were getting away with it, and now we're being found out. And that's the way we are at the moment. We come out and we don't start playing straight away. So I don't really care about how good we were in the second half against Man United or Liverpool. It's over. It's over. It's too late.
Agreed.
Fuck it.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
You can't. We can't keep giving teams, and not just any teams, good teams, Newcastle, Man United, Liverpool. We can't keep giving teams 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-0 head starts all the time, because you're never going to go and win games of football like that.
15 minutes.
But this is what I mean. Look at in the last 3 games, we gave away 5 goals in the first 20 minutes against Newcastle, 1 against Man United in the first 10 minutes, in the 7th minute, and then we gave away 3 in the first 15 minutes. 9 goals.
That's so
9
bad.
goals in the last 3 games. We're already behind, and we haven't even reached the 22nd minute.
That is so bad.
You can't do that in football. Like, football, it's hard enough going to the likes of St James's Park, Anfield, ironically playing at home against Man United. When was the last time we took a lead in a game anymore? Can anyone even remember? Was it Brighton? No, they went in front first, didn't they?
I'm looking it up right now. I think it was...
No,
we did. Heung-min Son scored in the
remember.
10th minute. Heung-min Son scored in the 10th minute.
Against
Brighton. And then Lewis Dunk
Yeah.
scored 24 minutes later to equalize.
Yeah.
And then VAR ruled out about 5 goals for Brighton, and we won.
Basically,
come on, you Spurs.
we talk about refereeing decisions at Anfield. Look at the refereeing decisions against Brighton, by the way.
Oof,
so when I always say it always balances out.
No, it doesn't balance out when you take studs to the face,
Ben's
Perchy.
right now. Ben's right. Bournemouth, we went 1-0 up, didn't we? I was at the game.
And then we lost, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, Tony Rodriguez, just because you brought it, I wanted to read this real quick because he had a nice comment here. It says, has been a red anywhere else in the universe, and Klopp had also received a red everywhere else in the universe. Referees always cowards at Anfield, and they have been given a brown envelope. Mud the wrongins. Come on, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. The last little topic I wanted to get on before I do got to go in like 15 minutes because my wife's got to come in the studio and do her thing. Ooh, I think that is. Look, there's my wife. She says nice cello. She knows I'm milking her cello. Yeah, big up my wife. Love you, babe.
She has to deal with him all the time.
She got to deal with me. Yeah. She, before the show, what she said to me, real quick, you want to know what she said to me? She said, this living room smells like you've been stressing out, and it smells like you're stanking here. And it's true because I was fighting motherfuckers on Twitter, basically because they're all defending Eric Dyer, and I'm like, you're a piece of shit. Debate me on my show. And I didn't really say you're a piece of shit. I mean, but that's just more or less how I felt. So when I feel that way, I start exuding a pheromone and that she's privy to. So she had to open the windows, turn on a fan. She's like, I got to air this room out. You stank it. Just wait till she gets in here. Wait till she gets in the studio. My last thing I wanted to talk about from L here says, could Kulu serve as a 10? And I saved this because I wanted to make this my last talking point because I got something to say. I've been saying, Dan Kulusevski, who the hell's that wearing number 21? He's been atrocious. Why did he start? Why is Danjuma not starting? I understand maybe not Richarlison because the first half at United, he was just falling over every time the wind blew. I get that. But Kulu has done nothing to warrant. How many games has he started this season? 20-some? Over 23, I think, that he has started in the Premier League and done nothing. And I need to see more. Why not throw Danjuma out there? At least he'll act like he gives a fuck, is how I feel. So I want to ask that to Paul, and then Perchy, I know you said you got a lot to say about Kulu. So Paul, why does Kulusevski always get to start?
I don't know. Well, I think it's partly because we're insistent on sticking with 3 up front. And if you only put 2 up front and an extra person in midfield, then we wouldn't have to have the discussion. But when you're putting 3 up front, then it's going to be either Kulusevski, Richarlison, or Danjuma. And yeah, I'm with you. I'd be giving Danjuma more of a shout. I mean, he must be thinking, why did I come to Tottenham? I could be enjoying relegation with Everton right now. So yeah, he's just. You know, I don't know if it's confidence or whatever, but he keeps on cutting inside now, and it's not working. He cuts inside and loses the ball immediately every single time. And I don't know if if we're under an obligation to buy, but if we're not, I don't think he's done enough. He's at risk to me of being one of those players we buy for like 20, 30 million, and they're just dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, Paul. That's why, I texted you because I was like, you know what? If he can join for 10 minutes or an hour, no matter what amount of dose we get from Paul, he's going to hit it. He, as a guy, a Chelsea fan that I watch, and his name's Johnny Minerals, you land it, my friend. You get the minerals and you land those minerals and you mud all the wrong end. So big up yourself.
Or maybe he's just sucking someone off. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's probably right too. Perchy, what do you got to say about maybe he's joined the Dyer Brigade, you know, the whole like we'll give you the old stinky pinky type of situation. I don't know what's going on at Tottenham. Perchy, I know that is a little out of bounds, but what do you think the reason is that Kulusevski gets a start?
I think Kulusevski this season has been in the periods of one of the worst players we've got in the team at the moment that plays every week. I know we talk about Eric Dyer. I'm not saying he's any worse, but Rob's just put it in there. 2 Premier League goals
in 26 appearances.
And here's a question. Wow. Okay, I was going to bring up some stats because I've done some little stats on this. I'm not one for stats. What is Kulusevski's goal per minute ratio this season? Can someone guess it?
1 in 1,000.
I'll give you that. 948 minutes per goal this season.
There you go.
948 minutes.
Let's just do that into a bit of context, okay? Because that is basically 1 in 10. Bit more than that, right? 1 in 10.
But everyone want to attack Son. Everyone want to come for Son because he wasn't off to the races like he was. He has 10 Premier League goals this season. So
yeah. No,
I think it all shakes out in the wash.
I think the Son criticism comes because I think people criticize it more for the fact of I think people put him on a different level. People put him in that world-class bracket, so you judge players on a world-class level. And that, for me, like I've been critical of Son. I think Son's an incredible football player, but I think the critical stance on it is not these stupid things again. Honestly.
Where's the bobblehead?
There he
is.
Antonio. There he goes, off to Italy. There he goes. Oh, things aren't going well. There he goes, off to Italy.
Guess what Danjuma's goal per minute ratio is for Tottenham in the Premier League?
2 minutes. Every 2 minutes.
87 minutes.
Okay, I was gonna say he has had some substitute appearances where he plays 5 minutes.
He's come off the bench 6 times and scored 1 goal with a goal per minute ratio of 87. And for me, I think Kulusevski gets away with it a lot at the moment because we've got worse players around. And do you know what? Here's a question, because obviously we're not going to finish in the Champions League. I think that's all but done. I think we can understand it. Would you activate the clause? Because the clause is only an option if we don't finish in the Champions League. It's obligated if we get in the Champions League, optional if we don't. Would you activate it?
No.
How much?
I think it's I'm going to say 30 million quid. It might be a bit more, a bit less.
I've been harsh on Kulusevski, but my answer to that, Perchy, would be yes, just because he's a young starter for his national team, which we love those. I think there is talent there, and I will attribute some of his downfall right now to the fact that the system we were playing last season versus the system we were kind of playing this season has affected his game, which it shouldn't, because playing with your back to goal kind of suits Kulusevski. He's a lot like Harry Kane like that, whereas Son not so much. So for 30, I don't know that we could go out and find a winger on the right that could do that can.
Porro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a shout.
But
I mean because he's not a right back.
I'm not here trying to say that we should or we shouldn't. But
Yeah,
my point
no, that's a
being
good
is
question. What would you do?
what-
What would you do?
me, I'd be on the fence, but I probably would activate it. I think there's more. There can be more positives. I think I can understand.
I think
why
30 is
people
enough to
wouldn't.
gamble on. If we spent 40 on Sanchez and he's still here,
Yeah.
we spent 80 on Ndombele and he's not even here. He's about to go win the Serie A with Napoli.
I mean, we spent all that money on Richarlison as well.
Yeah, we spent 60 up to. It's worth up to
I'm
72.
intrigued to
I
see
found
what
out.
Richarlison's is as well. By the way, I'm intrigued by that.
It was.
but-
I think it's up to like with the bonuses and shit. Could be up to 72. That we
No, I
paid.
want to. No. Oh, so here's. So do you want what's Richarlison's? So do you think Richarlison has a higher minutes per goal than Danjuma? Oh, not Danjuma. So then Dejan Kulusevski. Sorry, who's got a higher? Who's got a higher goals per game ratio?
Higher
goals by minutes ratio. Sorry, who's got
So
a higher one?
who's got a higher one? So who sucks more is the question.
So who's got a better? Sorry, who's got better?
gonna
Richarlison or
s-
Dejan Kulusevski?
Dan Kulusevski, right? It's got to be because he at least has 2 goals. But he's played a
more
lot
minutes,
more.
though.
Yeah,
Richarlison's
yes.
got a better goals per minute ratio. I mean, it's no better, by the way. But his is 836.
Oh, for God's sake.
But-
What are we
but
doing at Tottenham, man? What,
he's-
you know, a
and do you know
forward,
what?
you're supposed to score bloody goals. And Kulu and
Agreed. And do you know-
Richarlison ain't scoring bloody goals. Fuck's sake.
Isn't this, though, the massive issue we have? Isn't this the big issue we have? And the main point when I say big issue is that 2, I would say, good players. I'm not going to go over the top. I think they're okay. Richarlison and Kulusevski combined have got 3 goals all season, and they're meant to be the sort of rotational players that come in with KANE and Son.
Not good enough.
They've got
man.
3.
Shambles.
They've got 3 goals. That's terrible, and it makes a really bad viewing because I'm really.
And how many have
concerned.
Kane and Son got? 34 or something between them?
I'm gonna have a look in the Premier League.
35.
35?
Yeah,
So
35.
35 in their column and like, what,
He-
2,
he-
3 in the other columns. Crap.
Do you know what's incredible? Bentancur and Højbjerg have
Have
scored
more
more
goals,
goals
yeah.
than Kulusevski and Richarlison and Danjuma combined. That says it all. And by the way, I put Danjuma in there to sort of bolster it. That
I was going to say
scored-
poo-poo
the
on him.
three-
I thought you put him in
The
there.
3 of them have scored 4 goals. Bentancur scored 5.
God, we missed that guy. We missed that guy. Man.
I know.
This is how bad it's got, by the way. Kulusevski has scored the same amount of goals as Eric Dyer. Read that how you want. Eric
Jesus
Dyer scored
Christ.
2 goals this season. Kulusevski scored 2.
Jesus
And he's an
Christ.
attacker. That's terrifying.
I'm
dude.
starting to sweat again with anger. You're starting to make me Perchy. I'm gonna call you the perspirating percher because you say
perspirate
things
perch, I
and
love
you
it.
make me perspirate like crazy because I just start getting so angry.
Pedro
I did end the
Porro's got
poll.
the same amount of goals as Kulusevski. We signed him. We signed him. It's mad, isn't it? I mean, it's incredible. When honestly, can I just say, when I always make that thing about without Harry Kane, where would we? Without Kane and Son, Bentancur's our top goal scorer with 5 goals. We're in May.
He hasn't played for a long.
We're in May. And apart from Kane and Son, they're the only 2 people on double digits this season. And we talk about us scoring loads of goals. Without them, we don't. Without Kane and Son. And by the way, this is a Son that's been terrible but for his level, by the way, this season. I mean, last season...
I think the
we
theme
did-
of
we-
this show is the the state of affairs here at Tottenham. It's just everything's an indictment on the way that this club is ran, in my opinion. I wish I could go longer. I really do. I got to clear this room up for my wife though. She's got something to do here in 10 minutes. So I do want to get final thoughts from the panel real quick. The poll has ended. The winner is always bias at Anfield. The refs and VAR is always bias at Anfield. 65% voted for that. 20% voted for refs always suck / Jota and Skip deserve the red. 11% say quit crying, Jacob. It happens. So maybe I should quit crying, but I'm just going to leave you with this thought. Whoever voted for that, should I quit crying? Do you think Oliver Skip's mother enjoyed seeing this? Do you think Oliver Skip has a family and you're committing violence to him? That's just absurd to me. But I'll quit crying now. Paul, thank you so much. Thank you to Ben. Paul, do you got any final thoughts for us real quick before I end this thing?
Yeah, I think, just I haven't mentioned it all stream, so I'll mention it now. We need someone that can house train Daniel Levy because he's shitting outside of his box at the moment, and that man is on his way to winning a treble in Scotland, and that's Ange Postecoglou. Get him in at the end of the season. Big Ange, Yasu,
Before I ask Perchy his final thoughts, I have to say this out loud because you love Ange Postecoglou. Why would you wish this club upon that man? Because all it's going to do is we're going to break him. Yeah, he's a Mustang right now. We're the cowboy going to wrangle him, break him in. He's just going to be that show pony that walks the carousel in a circle. And he's going to be a broken Mustang. Just watch. If it happens, just watch. Don't get mad at me when it happens. I'm going to say, Paul, I told you, don't wish this upon your man, Ange Postecoglou.
He's too big for it. He's too big for it. He's just a force of nature that they'll have to agree with whatever he wants to do. Plus, he doesn't insist on buying, ready-made players now. He can spot a bargain and train them up, which is more than what we need at the moment than spending 60 million on fucking Richarlison and God knows what on this, Drop your budget down to 20 million a player, 15 million a player. Then we can buy some quality. Ange, man.
Ange. Yeah. Let's ruin him. Perchy, what you got any final thoughts before I retire?
No, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone in the chat. It's like therapy. This on a Monday. It's nice and calm. We have a bit of a laugh. We talk a bit of football, and it sort of rolls onto the week. Massive shout out.
4 more subs to hit the 550 over on the Perch. So
we're 4 away. If there's 4 of you still in the chat and you haven't subscribed, please do. It actually means the world if you can get me there. That would be amazing if we can get to the 550. 4 of you. Massive thanks to you, man. It's always a pleasure doing the show with you. I do enjoy it.
Great to get it back kicking and rolling here.
Of course.
And also, my final thought will be big ups to everyone in the chat. Big ups to everyone here. I know it was a tough weekend, but you know what? We only move the way that we groove. And right now, y'all helping me move and groove. So I appreciate y'all. I also want to say big shout out to Gogamo with the solo, with the one and only super chat of the day, just showing some love. Big up with the 2,000 currency that I do not know what that is, but thank you so much, Gogamo, for
Korean won.
2,000.
Yeah, that's probably right. Korean won sounds about right. But big up, Gogamo, and thank you so much for the super chat, showing some support here for the channel. And also big up to all of the patrons of the channel. Your names have been scrolling down below. I'll leave it there again as I sign this out. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Another unmundane Monday, but I appreciate everyone unmundaning their Mondays with us today, with Perchy and I. And happy birthday, Ben. And as you know, I can only say up the lads and come on, you Spurs. You know what I mean? That's all we can do is look forward to the next one. We only got 4 finals left. Only 4 finals left. So
we're going to lose the last 4 games. Is normally how it works.
Yep. That's probably right. We'll probably finish about 8th or 9th, But big up, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your Monday. Thank you for tuning in with us. If you watch this live or on replay, please do hit that like if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe and go on over. Click the title, ThePerchyTV. It's in the title. It's really easy. It's in the description. Go hit a subscribe. Let's help get this man's numbers up. But until the next time, I'm going to see y'all later. And as always, Coys.
Voice of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.